Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the fanfiction guy. Back with amazing fanfiction. This is the series of What If Gamer Deku Maxed Out Stats. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. A family of 4, Yagi Toshinori, Yagi Inko and their twins Izumi Yagi and Izuku Yagi, notices signs of Izumi's quirk appearing. With joys and smiles as bright as day, they are taken to their private physician to find out their quirks. Well, Mrs. and Mr. Yagi, I have good news and bad news. The doctor says, causing both the parents grimace, that there might be something wrong. They look into each other's eyes for a moment. I think we would like the good news first. The mother of Izuku and Izumi Yagi says with hesitation in her voice. Toshinori only nods in agreement. Well, it seems that your daughter, Izumi Yagi, has an extremely powerful mix of both your quirks. We checked the blood quirk cell count to see how much impact her quirk gene has had on her overall body structure along with any abnormalities, thankfully of which there were none of. Her quirk is a very powerful form of telekinesis. With the readings she is giving off, she may even be able to lift buildings with her quirk. Along with this, we have found that her muscles are more compact and her bones are denser, meaning she might also have an aspect of strength enhancement. She has a reading of 9,041, which is even stronger than your quirk test count, Mr. Yagi. That's amazing. She can become one of the top, if not the #1 hero. Yagi says, hugging his wife and daughter enthusiastically. Izumi smiled gleefully at the praise she was receiving. Izuku was happy for his sister and wondered what quirk he got with an almost infectious smile blooming on his face. The troublesome news is that your son is quirkless. This causes both Toshinori and Inko to tense up only to look down at their beaming daughter and forgets their worries. Izuku is frozen in shock, his dreams crushed. He had his mom and dad to support him, so maybe he could still become a hero, right? Mama, Papa, can I still become a hero? Tearful Izuku asks with an almost pleading tone in his voice. Oh. Those with weak quirks or have no quirk at all would only be in the way. Maybe you can become a cop or something? Yagi says with disinterest as he shifts his attention from Izuku to Izumi, not noticing his dull and broken eyes, echoing like a void. He looks to his mother for any hint of hope, but she doesn't even spare him a glance as they begin walking away with Izumi, hand in hand. Leaving Izuku to follow them, almost like a shadow in the back of their minds. The doctor looks at Izuku with a smirk on his face. Useless brat. I wouldn't even be surprised if they put him in an orphanage, he says as he unscrews his flask of whiskey. A time skip brought to you by a chibi Izuku sitting in the corner wiping his tears away whilst they celebrate Izumi's birthday. 2 weeks later. Hick, why can't I do anything? Izuku cries to himself, he just wants to leave, to disappear. Why can't they accept him for him? What does a quirk have to do with being their son? He was amazed by Kachan's quirk and wanted to be like him. Why was he the failure? His eyes sink like a hollow void, further and further. Until he got a ping on the computer. It was an advertisement. Nervegear coming soon. Those who wish for a different reality, those who wish to prove themselves, be prepared for the newest technological titan. The Nervegear allows for an otherworldly virtual experience. Full dive into a different reality with overwhelming visual experiences. Join a world where quirks don't matter. Join a world designed for you. Mama, Mama, Izuku says as he looks towards the green-haired figure writing recommendations to pro-hero classes for her daughter. Mama, can you buy this? He says as he holds up his laptop, showing the Nervegear advertisement. Not right now, I'm busy, she says as she didn't even spare a glance at what Izuku wanted. Izuku noticed this and held his tears as much as he could as he left the room, only to release his tears like a waterfall out of her view. Do they hate me because I'm quirkless? WG. What if everyone at school hates me as well? Kaken was right, I'm just a useless Deku? Izuku's eyes drifted over to his father's credit card. He looks uncertain before being reminded of what they said to him. They celebrated Izumi's birthday and left me to cry alone. With his thoughts becoming darker and darker, he took the credit card and pre-ordered the Nervegear. I grab my backpack with a smile on my face as I go to meet Kaken and Shokuen for the first time in a while. I see them at the entrance as I wave to them. I see my sister speaking to them for a moment before returning an odd look towards me. Kaken. I missed you. Izuku says, drawing stares from around him. You useless Deku. Why are you even here, bothering, you quirkless freak? Kaken says with a smirk on his face as he explodes his palms for intimidation. Do you really think you can be a hero without a quirk? Izumi says as she looks down on me. Shokun also looks at me with disgust, but I'm not even worth his breath to speak about. I can. I will show you I can be a hero, I say with a confident tone. Izumi returns a sad look but quickly replaces it with a mocking smirk. Then we will just show you why the useless can't be a hero. You will only be in the way for when we become pros. Give up, you will never become a hero. Izumi says as she uses her quirk to throw me into the sand. I look up to see Kaken hit me with an exploding palm which scars my shoulder. Shokun uses his fire to burn my stomach as I cry out in pain from their combined attacks. They continue their onslaught until the bells rung for class. Every time I turn around I see Kaken, Shokun or Izumi-chan looking at me with an almost threatening stare. I get called out by the teacher for not paying attention. I drop my head onto my desk as I become more and more scared. I take a different route and head out to school, early. I'm too scared of what they're going to do to me. I don't want to be in so much pain. As I'm leaving I notice a girl being surrounded by a group of boys. She looks uncomfortable but they keep saying about how amazing her quirk is. I can't say I'm not jealous. They scatter as they see a group of girls approaching the chestnut-haired girl. They shout about how she was stealing all the attention and begin to gang up on her. I get worried as even though she might have an amazing quirk, I don't think she can fight 7 people at once. The girls begin to attack the girl. I rush in to stop them taking a punch to the face. A second later they all drop to the ground unconscious and the girl is gone. The only thing that remains is a layer of ice crystallizing on each of their skins. What kind of quirk can do that? How can a quirkless fight that? As I get home I'm reminded of all the abuse I received from my sister and friends. Years begin to pass. I'm now 13. The abuse never stopped and I didn't receive my Nervegear either. I was disappointed but I had to accept reality. I will always be useless. Over time I often went to my grandfather's. Apparently mother had abandoned their traditions because quirks are more effective. They come from an old line of samurai and swordsmen. I often trained with wooden weapons or kendo sticks. It was brutal but it got my mind off of things. Izuku Midoriya, pay attention. What the hell are you calling me out for? How about you try learning something? I am years ahead of these asshats. I probably have more knowledge in science and biotech than you have in your pinky. So next time you try calling, get your damn facts straight. Izuku shouts in an annoyed tone. This is why quirkless should learn their place. Go to the principal's office. Izuku rolls his eyes and leaves for home. The principal doesn't like dealing with the quirkless freak, so he doesn't even care if I get punished. The teachers here either have to be drug addicts or just got out of being isolated for 20 years because they are stupid as hell. When I got home I noticed a wooden crate. I pried it open and shock overwhelmed my core as I noticed that the Nervegear finally came. I read the instructions, plugged everything in and said to myself, a reality that's my own. I can finally escape. Link start. Can't you be something else other than a hero, lil bro? You can't do it. Please just give up. Izumi asks in a pleading tone, only to be met with the standard, the F you say? Expression on Izuku's face. Firstly, don't call me lil bro. As far as I'm aware we stopped being a family after I was found out to be quirkless and you just had a field day with that, didn't ya? Secondly, as I explained before, I'm doing it to prove myself. You all call me useless, yet when I get into you, I'll make you eat my damn dust. Izuku says with a frown on his expression. Unbeknownst to him, Father Dearest was listening in. Izuku leaves the room without listening to her reply. As Izuku leaves he hears his sperm donor on the phone. Yes, Principal Nizu. Yes, please blacklist the kid Izuku Midoriya from entering U.A. Why? Because I personally believe he isn't fit to be a hero. Izuku stood there, angrier than he had ever been before. His father can't just tell the principal that he was quirkless because that isn't a valid reason since 2 years ago. He starts to head to his Nervegear, wanting to clear the 4th boss today. There are only a few weeks left of the beta and he wants to see how far he can progress. Link start. Colors encompasses his eyes as he transitions from his dark room to a world unlike any other. He is currently in the middle of his quest to complete the Elf War campaign. He notices all the pixies hovering around him and another flash of light. A familiar figure appears in front of him. "Sarah, it's good to see you again," he says to the pink-haired woman cheerfully. She looks at him in response with a small smirk on her face. "Family problems again, Kiri? You don't know half of it. My sister keeps telling me to give up. It's infuriating. My father actually called the principal of UDATA today. How he has those connections is BS. He's trying to personally destroy my dream." Kirito whines. "Well, it's good to know we both have equally shitty sperm donors. Wanna cut up some ghouls?" "I would love that," Kirito replies with a smile on his face. Within the next few minutes, even Kayaba was mourning the ghouls. The spectacle was known as the Bloody Birchwood Incident. They ended ghouls as brutal as possible. Players and NPCs alike puked their guts out after watching a player single-handedly strip apart a tree with his bare hands only to rip through the ghouls' bodies using splinters of wood to either gouge out their eyes or sever their arms, leaving the flesh hanging by a thread to hundreds of ghouls. He looked back to his friend that has an "I'm proud of you" expression on her face. Izuku's only friend. He doesn't party often, but if he does, it's usually with her. They talk about their IRL problems. They don't really care about it much. They don't give specific details like their names, but they talk about their quirks, Yui and other interesting topics. Seraphina quirk, time manipulation, allows the user to bend time to their will for a certain paroid. If they go beyond that, they firstly become nauseated. Secondly, their eyes go bloodshot, and thirdly, if they continue to push through the pain, their muscles and skin starts to tear, eventually leading to organ failure as the doctors speculate. She uses the Nervegear to get away from her family as well. She has a druggy father and a mother who works herself to death to support them. Sarah managed to get the Nervegear after winning a contest. She has a little sister called Arie. She dreams to go to UDA as well so that she can provide for her sister and mother. She is a bit of a ditz though. On one of their first meetings she accidentally said her first name in anger. That was refreshing. My parents are going to be back soon. If they catch me on this, they will probably throw it away," Kirito says with slight dismay in his voice. "I don't worry about it. I'll see you next time. Don't forget about the boss raid this Friday." Sure. By Woody," Kirito mentions in a teasing tone. "Don't call me that," she shouts, only for Kirito to leave halfway through. "God fu damn it, you living piece of I'm not the Woody. You're the Woody you." Izuku awakens with a satisfied grin on his face before packing away his equipment. Knock knock. Izuku opens the door only to reveal some surprise guests. Bakugo and Todoroki. "Oh, it's you too. Are you here for Izumi?" "Shut it, you bastard. We are here for you. Your sister does everything for you. You need to learn, you goddamn place. If you ever think about going to UA, I will drop you off a building myself. Maybe then you will finally get a quirk, you trash. Izumi is like a sister to me. You keep hurting her, I won't hold back. Give me one reason I shouldn't freeze you into a bloody icicle." "Oh, you can try, but you probably have better luck by sticking it up your own ass. At least you'd get some action that way," Izuku says with a grin before Todoroki actually shoots a pike of ice towards Izuku's shoulder. For a split second the ice and Izuku disappear only to discover that Izuku smashed the icicle pike against Todoroki's temple, knocking him out. Bakugo looks on with confusion before firing an explosion at him. In response, Izuku grabs his arm, twists and throws him over his shoulder out of the two-story window, straight into the trash heap. Izuku wipes his hands in satisfaction before grabbing Todoroki and yeeting him out the window as well. "Oh, I forgot to take out the trash," Izuku murmurs to himself before throwing the liquidity sheet-covered garbage bag and throwing it out the window onto Bakugo's head and, of course, his wide-open mouth. He puts his hand next to his ear, enjoying the screams and cries of sorrow mixed with literal sheet going down his throat. Phew, that was fun. Time to begin my training for today. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats and a 10 kilometers run, Izuku says as he stretches his limbs before running out of the door. Am I balding? Not just my imagination. Anime logic like that doesn't exist. Right? Ring ring. Izuku looks down at his phone and notices that it's Serafina. Hey Woody, how's it going? Izuku says as he pulls his phone away from his ear, almost instinctively as hell rained down from his speaker. 10 minutes later. You done? Yeah, I'm good. Tough. If I didn't know any better, I would think that you love that name. We agreed not to talk about the incident. Fine. I'm surprised you called me. We usually just text, Izuku says as he thinks back to Serafina actually giving him her IRL number like the ditz she is. Did you see the forums? Apparently there's going to be a new update to Aincrad. They sorted out a bunch of the balancing issues and are going to release an official announcement next month in the Central Coliseum. Apparently it's AQ and A from Kayaba Akihiko himself. I'm so hyped for it. Oh my god, I saw it as well. He said in his last Q&A that he was quirkless. It took the world by storm that someone could make something so amazing yet have no intellectual quirk. He's an inspiration. Just from him I heard that since then the quirkless population suicide rate has gone down by 30%. I mean it's still like 50% but figures like All Might are reducing it further. You know, I took up science and biotech because I wanted to be like him, right? You never told me that. She says with an obvious pout over the phone. Don't sound so sad, it's too adorable. You dash. Anyway, you ready for the boss raid this afternoon? Izuku says as he tries to dodge the seraph that would have lasted another 10 minutes. Yeah, I heard rumors about certain clear conditions, allowing for a specialist class to be unlocked. It's obvious BS, but because of it, the rest of the raid groups are storming the floors or are trying to bribe our group into giving the location. So we have to move soon. Yeah. It's honestly a pain. I'm heading back home now, so I will see you online. We can talk more then. Izuku says as he begins to hang up. Yeah, of course. See you then, bro Kiri. You can call me bro, I don't really mind, we'll talk later. See ya, you dash. But that does beg the question whether or not that specialist class is real. It doesn't really matter anyway as it's only the beta. I wonder if I can get a healer companion in the Elven Forest. That might help me when I'm farming solo, or what about a demoni dash? Gash, shut up. Shut up. You are so annoying with that mutter. The girl behind Izuku shouted with pure contempt, cutting Izuku off from his usual mutter session. This made Izuku smile. He is so loved that they can't stand not paying attention to him. Well darling, you shouldn't be so abrasive about it, it's very unwomanlike. My name is Izumi Midoriya, what's yours? What? Dare call me a man? She says with fury in her eyes, drawing back her fist. Wait, that's not what I said. But aren't you actions the complete opposite of what you're saying? Izuku testified, trying to dig himself out of the bottomless void he is currently falling through. Stella Vermilion, she whispers. What was that? Izuku asks, putting his hand next to his ear comically. Stella Vermilion, you have disgraced my name. I challenge you to a one-on-one spar. She spat out, trying to slap Izuku in the process only for her hand to be caught with ease. Okay. Pulling his best Saitama face, allowing time to transcend itself to skip 5 minutes into the future. Are you ready? She shouts with confidence. She should really tone it down a little, just saying, sure, take this, she says as she throws a metal blade at him. Blade first. What the hell, lady? Are you crazy? Izuku shouts with annoyance in his tone before catching the blade and doing a flip at the same time like the pro he is. Oh-ho-ho. Calling me a man, and now you call me crazy? I will roast you like the pig you are, she says as she draws a fiery blade from existence. Are you asking me out to lunk dash? Stella clashes down with her sword, destroying the ground. At least you aren't completely incompetent, my dragon breath is 3000 degrees Celsius. If you were hit there, my name would be carved into your gravestone, she says as she continues an onslaught of attacks only to be blocked every time. But why won't you fall? Well, I'm about to end this anyway. I don't like anime fights. They try to prolong them for extra story or just to reach the 20-minute mark. It doesn't matter to me though. Well, unless the animation is good like Demon Slayer, then they get my approval. You think you can beat me? She says as she raises her sword into the air. Izuku says as he ducks under the attack whilst throwing his sword at Stella. She dodges the blade only for Izuku to appear behind her, catching the sword and holding it to her neck. I win, Izuku says with a cocky grin. The taste of victory is sweet, the sounds of it though are. Can you stop crying? I'm trying to inner monologue. Sight, let's try this again. My name is Izumi Midoriya, it's nice to meet you. Stella Vermilion, pleased to meet your acquaintance. Well then, that was a lot of fun, it was fun meeting you, however I have to get going. Oh right, you asked me to lunch, so here's my number. Izuku hands out a pre-prepared card in a businesslike manner. But wait, what's your quirk? It has to be something powerful. Princess, I'm quirkless. That's why you should never look down on those who seem weaker than you. You will live to regret it. Prin what? She blushes crimson in embarrassment from the very accurate nickname Izuku gave her. What's yours? Mine is known as Levitine's Blade. It allows me to summon the blade, Levitine, and use fire-based attacks against my opponents. I can coat myself in the flames to create a dress that acts as armor-blocking attacks. It's my ultimate attack and defense. While that's interesting, you can do a lot of great things with a quirk like that, but you seem to be limiting yourself. How dardash. Let me finish. You say your weapon is to simply summon flames. Maybe you should rethink that approach. From our fight you instinctively name all your attacks after a dragon's. Even your quirk name is known as the Empress Dragon Sin Blade. It's said that quirks have a personality of their own. Well, that's also true for sentient-based quirks, but they are very rare. Maybe look into your quirk more. Fire may not be the primary source of your quirk. It could be a dragon-based quirk instead, which opens up more possibilities in that limited mindset of yours. I see. So I may be able to improve my potential by looking for another approach. Thank you, and for the record I'm sorry for attacking you, she says in a clearly sincere tone. Oh, it's fine, I've had much worse. I want to be a hero in the future. You know, being quirkless has a fair share of hate. Even more so if they want to be a hero. Wait, what was my point again? Oh right, anyway, don't be too hard on yourself. You should also know that yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. So I've already forgiven you, Izuku says with a happy smile spreading across his face. Then wait, did you really just quote Kung Fu Panda to me? Nijirundeo. What the hell just happened? Izumi Midoriya, 13 years old. I opened the door to reveal a sobbing Izumi. If she wasn't my biological sister, I would have slammed the door on her face. Dad was injured again. He was involved in a villain attack. Atrocity, the SS-rank villain, collapsed several buildings in a fight with All Might. He was in critical condition but stable for now. Izumi says with her brow creased in worry and anger. Atrocity? Him of all people? His quirk allows him to manipulate air at will. If he fought All Might, then he was just playing with him. He could have easily removed the air out of All Might's lungs. What he did was to show an example, and unfortunately for Dad, he was hit in the crossfire. She murmurs, agreeing with me. Even if they are a bastard of a family, and even if I don't forgive them, I don't wish for their deaths. If he's stable, then is he out of surgery? I guess. I haven't visited him yet. I was wondering if you wanted to go together. Fine, just to see that he's fine. I don't really want to face him though. He's our father, Izu. Don't call me that as if we are familiar. You have no right, and neither does he. I said I'd go, so drop it. Fine. As we begin to walk to the hospital, I remember back to the raid earlier. It was a massacre. The boss, Thor the annoying troll, was by far the most difficult boss yet. The rumors about the clearing condition weren't exactly a lie, as Seraphina, who got the last strike on the boss, had a unique job change to Berserker, which allowed her to equip a poorly balanced weapon efficiently as if it was made for the class. The Buster Sword. We almost failed the raid as the boss was immune to nearly all forms of debuffs that cancelled out our mages, and the boss's agility supported its primary attack, which was to strike the area in front, which caught out a battalion of our players. The circle ground pound around the boss also took out our shield and spear users, disrupting our phalanx formation. And to top all the BS off, it has a long-ranged 15M attack which took out a lot of our DPS. The players came together after the raid to discuss the boss. No one except from Sarah and I knew the conditions for the class change, but we decided to keep that to ourselves for when the game actually gets released, as we don't know whether it's a unique class or not. We recorded the rest of the information in a booklet to help new players when the game officially launches. We are here, she says, snapping me out of my trance. I see the hospital room door. She opens it to reveal Dad laying weakly on the bed. Izumi, you're here? He says as he takes off his mask. Hi, Dad, she says with worry and concern evident in her voice. Dad responds with a smile. His eyes drifts over to me, yet he says nothing. I guess he wants to talk to Izumi alone. Hey, I'm going to get a drink out of the vending machine. You want one? Lemonade, thanks, she says as I nod in response. Obviously he wants to talk to her about something, so I shouldn't probably listen in. Well, too bad. I leave the door slightly open as I hear their voices. Izumi, you can't put this off any longer. I want you to inherit my quirk. One for all, she whispers to herself. Indeed, I'm growing weaker. I can only do this for a couple hours a day, and you are the perfect successor. What? What about Izuku? He's quirkless. He can be a hero if he got your quirk. As you know, I'm the symbol of peace for many. The next symbol down the line has to show that they can go above and beyond of what I could accomplish. You have the strength, the will, and the determination. Izuku has none of those things. I don't see a single heroic quality in his bones. Symbol of peace. My father can't be All Might, right? If quirks were transferable, it'd break most of what we understand as a society. But my gut feelings over the years. How father never spoke of his work, how he made so much money, why he's always busy. Why does it have to be All Might? One of my idols, the one who stated that anyone can be a hero if they try. But why? Why does it have to be him? I accept, she says with a smile. Completely ignorant of the wrath of Izuku. Good. Now eat this, he says as he momentarily buffs up, revealing his form and confirming my thoughts. He plucks out a hair and a disgusted expression appears on her face before eating it and visibly vomiting in her mouth before swallowing it. Izumi knew. Inko knew. They all knew. Bakugo and Todoroki probably knew. I have no family. I should have known. I guess I had some thoughts in the back of my mind that maybe we can still be one. Izumi, Inko, Toshinori. They are dead to me. Knock knock. Here. Izumi, your lemonade, I say with a forced smile. Thanks, Izu, she says as if nothing was wrong. Yeah. Enjoy. Izuku, my boy. I'm thinking about signing you up for a science-based university as you can't be a hero. You might as well pursue something worthwhile. Oh, I see. Maybe I'll think about it. Okay then, he says as I leave the room. Was that odd? Toshinori asks his daughter. Because he never interacted with his son more than a few sentences a week to understand his personality and feelings. He agreed with you. Something's definitely unusual. Should I follow him? Izumi says as she begins to leave. Scared if he heard their conversation. No, it's fine. It's not as if it matters. He's quirkless after all. You look like sheet, Stella remarks. I feel like sheet, princess. Can you please stop calling me that? Can you change your personality? No. Then no. Izuku says as he crosses his arms triumphantly. What the hell is wrong with you today? Oh, I'm sorry. I just visited my dad in hospital a while ago and found out he is goddamn All Might. You're right. Stella scoffs at him. You aren't kidding. Oh. My father, my idol, said that I couldn't be a hero. I'm done. I don't know what to do anymore. Well, you were talking about the Aincrad update, weren't you? I don't really have time for that stuff, but you and Sarah seem to be hyped for it. Well, yeah, along with the update, the game will be brought out of beta. I can't wait for it. It should be in the next few hours. I'm gonna go play a bit before it resets. I'll see you when I see you, Izuku says as he runs away yet again. OOOH, how naive I was. Do you think that life gives you the shittiest cards? Well, you're wrong. Life is a spiral that is constantly going downhill. Why would I say this? Because this is what happened 2 years ago. I was so excited. New updates, new monsters, new weapon changes, and I was ahead of everyone. Sarah and I didn't expect to be trapped in that goddamn game for 2 goddamn years. So you're probably wondering, what should you do when life hits the fan? UFING hit back. An unfortunate decision. As a result, the game has 240 less players. They have been deleted from both Aincrad and the real world. In this situation, what is the most common reaction? Scream? You eat a potato at that cockhead. Who the hell? Did you just lob a potato at me? Who the what? You deserve it, you psychopath. Kirito shouts with all of his might. In another universe. Did someone just dare waste a potato? I will find you. Skills like mine make me a nightmare for people like you. Believe me, I will find you. Nice, Sarah says as a mirror appears in our hands. It changes our appearance, surprising everyone and causing a commotion. I feel like I just pissed off some kind of deity. You okay, Kirito? Kleinix. Kiri? Yeah. Wait, who are you guys? Sarah? She says as she looks towards me in shock. It's probably because I look much younger than my avatar. Klein. What the hell? Wait, so that's what you really look like? Goddamn, John is a dumb. Wait, how do they have our dash? Kirito murmurs in realization. The scan. There's a high den dash. We know. You don't have to monologue. Seems like the entrances are opening. We need to leave. If we don't, the hunting spots will be unavailable. I'm sorry, Kirito. I promise to hang out with my friends. They are as new to this as I am, and I don't want to abandon them. Klein says in an upset tone. That's fine. Send me a friend request. We can meet up later if you want. Sarah, let's head out. Is this really happening? Are we really stuck here? What about Arie? How will she survive without me? You said your mom's covering it, right? The government wouldn't sit by whilst we all die. They will probably put us in hospitals free of family expenses. Promise me something. What? Kirito asked with a confused expression. The likelihood that we clear all 100 floors and are still alive at the end of it is low. Remember all the deaths in the beta? So promise me if you survive and I don't make it, look after Arie. She means the world to me. We won't die. Get that in your head. We will get out of this game together. Kirito shouted with all his might. His confidence or willingness to survive gave Sarah hope. They will survive together, right? Sarah says with a soft smile on her face. Fortunately, that was the case. She didn't die, however, due to her previous conditions before entering the Nervegear. Her condition was poor enough to trigger a cerebral malfunction when leaving the Nervegear. Due to her poor condition, she was effectively put her into a coma. Arie was another story though. When we fought the first boss, is when I first met Asuna. Sarah teased me hard but I didn't think anything would come of it. Sarah, Asuna and I stuck together in a party. We continued as a 3-man squad until the end. None of us joined a guild. We were known as Kirito the Black Swordsman, Asuna the Berserk Healer and Sarah the Executioner, mainly for her buster blade that she carried around the battlefield with ease. After Gleam Eyes, Asuna and I decided to take a break. During this time, we got married, had a kid and lived happily ever after. In all seriousness though, we bought a house near a lake and met Yui soon after. We adopted her as our daughter, effectively becoming her papa and mama. When we took a break, Sarah continued fighting. She became one of the most powerful players in SAO. When she was free, we introduced Yui to her. Papa Mama, who is the pretty lady? This is your Auntie Sarah? Auntie Sarah? Auntie Sarah? Yui shouts out excitedly. You guys had a kid? You are moving way too fast. Sarah shouts out in shock. We adopted her, we think she's a player but we aren't sure. Nonetheless, I already love her as my own. Honey, do you want to help me make some spicy soba for your papa? Yui says, nodding her head enthusiastically. Wow, you really are a family. When are you guys gonna come back to the front lines? Soon, but right now we want to focus on Yui. Understandable. Do you mind if I pop in now and then to visit my favorite niece? Your only niece. How does that sound, hun? Do you want Auntie Sarah to visit more? Yes. It wasn't until floor 84 that I found Heathcliff was acting suspiciously. During the boss fights he had never gone to yellow health or below. I wanted to test my suspicions and just like when Yui sacrificed herself, he was also an immortal object, an admin, Kayaba Akihiko. Because of Sarah's class, She managed to overpower the debuff Kayaba put on us. Sarah and I defeated him. That's what we thought until Kayaba turned into a monster. He was a walking behemoth. His appearance resembled the gleam eyes, but he was red and burning in a constant stream of fire. Just like the gleam eyes, we overpowered him. We won. The game ended and we were met with Kayaba overwatching the fall of Aincrad. Izuku, we did it. Asuna, a stunning view, isn't it? Akihiko Kayaba. In about 10 minutes everything in this world will be deleted. No. And the players, what happens to them? You don't have to worry, the 5291 that survived will wake up and be with their families. Though for some, they won't wake up even if they cleared this game. Their physical conditions deteriorated to the point of being unable to wake up. An oversight on my part. I am truly sorry. I see. Kayaba, I want to ask for a favor. I spent my life making this world a reality. I suppose I can listen to what you ask for. Yui. Yui will be deleted as well, won't she? Yui MHCP00 the mental health counseling program 001. I was surprised when she was adopted by you. I can already guess what you want to ask for. Consider it done. When you leave this world, you will receive another gift. As a response to this, Asuna lets out a sigh of relief. I suppose this is goodbye. Wait, why did you do all of this? It's been so long I don't remember it completely. When I was diagnosed quirkless, my dreams were shattered. I wanted to make a world where everyone could be what they wanted to be. At first it wasn't a glorified death game, but over time I saw how civilians acted like villains when faced with quirkless individuals. I guess I wanted to show the world that quirkless doesn't mean useless. A majority of the players in this game are quirkless. The fact they survived means they are strong. Strong enough to be what they want to be. I guess that's all. I should be going now. Achieve your dreams, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Kayaba says as he vanishes into smoke. Asuna, when I find you in the real world, I want us to be together forever. Will you marry me? Again? Yes, of course I'll marry you. Was there any doubt about it? I don't know if my parents will let us though. I come from a strict family. It's the same with me. I told you before that my father is all might. He won't leave us in peace. Sue, let's elope. Just you and me. We get together and then we find Sarah, Klein, Liz, Stella, Silica and Agile. How though? We can't marry without our parents' consent. Asuna asks with a slight pout on her face. You're really adorable, you know that? Hey, if we find someone with a cloning quirk, they can just help us. I can probably blackmail my father into giving me enough to hire someone. I love you, Izuku. I love you as well, Asuna. Izuku says as the world fades to white, to reveal a white hospital room. He was back. This isn't a dream. This is finally reality. Ping, it was Izuku's phone. Congratulations, Izumi Midoriya, better known as Kirito. This is a message sent by the Aincrad system on behalf of Akihiko Kayaba. Hello, Kirito. I am sure you're aware that I am not alive. I had sent this after our meeting to fulfill your request and to grant you a gift of sorts. We have worked alongside with individuals to find out how to synthesize quirks. This was a mostly failed attempt to help the quirkless have power. Fortunately, we did have one successful product. Through this email, I will grant you all of your abilities from SAO. The one who succeeded should be granted as much. Secondly, due to the funding we received, we had an excess amount of money as a result of the creation of the game, mostly funded by the government. These are all in safeguarded accounts, but I have granted you a majority of the funding as a result. The account number is, please check the account at your earliest convenience. And of course, third and finally, similar to how you can store weapons in your inventory, we have changed the data of the remains of Yui MHCP001 into a biomechanical organism. There should no difference in physiology with a normal human child. I suppose that's what you wanted for your daughter. Anyway, have fun. Oh, and before I passed, I did a little background check on you, an unfortunate upbringing of course, which is why I disabled the alert function for when you awaken. The doctors and nurses are probably unaware you are awake, so you're free from your family if you wish. You sure as hell have enough money now to afford a mansion of your own. All jokes aside, congratulations, Kirito, and be free. What the F? Even though you murdered like 5,000 people, I love you right now, Kayaba, Izuku says as he throws himself out the window. kicking off the wall, finishing off with a flip and landing in a Superman pose. He really wasn't kidding, all of my stats. Wait, can I still? Kirito? Friends, party. Kirito? What the hell is happening? Are we still in Aincrad? Asuna's voice is heard through the other line. I click to invite Sarah to the party but it doesn't go through. I just got the gift Kayaba sent me. He gave me all of my powers from... Are you kidding me? How is that even possible? Wait, are you lying? Izzy, she shouts with pure disbelief in her voice. Firstly, I'm not lying, how dare you assume? Secondly, I don't know. But I do know that I have a rapier to return to you after I finish the final boss off. Wait, you really have my lambent light? Along with all its stats, which I think will boost you IRL. How this all works is beyond me. I'll send Klein, Liz, Silica and Agile a message. Wait, so you have all of your stats? With your strength you could lift up boulders that weigh several tons? You actually heal faster than people can damage you? How is this possible? For one thing, even without that OP quirk you could become an amazing hero, but now? You could go for the #1 spot. Asuna says with glee. She always believed Izuku could be a hero without a quirk. Iza doesn't know, but he tried to protect her a long time ago from bullies. She thought he was a goddamn idiot, but it was still a sweet gesture. About that, Izuku says as he voices an audible gulp. Izu, I don't know if I want to be a hero anymore. Izuku says, trying to instill as much confidence in himself as possible. What do you mean? It was your dream, right? Can we meet up to talk about this? Sure, just come to... I'll be there soon, I just have to do something first. Izuku says in an ominous tone. So why don't you want to be a hero? It's not that I don't want to be one, it's that I don't deserve to be one. Everything that I did in SAO, Zuna, I ended people. How am I any different to Laughing Coffin? You're talking about the LC raid? You saved us. You can't blame yourself for that. Asuna says with an understanding tone. Izuku buries his head into her shoulder, murmuring incoherent muttering. I don't know anymore. It feels like everything I was working towards was destroyed in SAO. My drive, my compassion and my resolve. Izuku says as he looks down to his hands and clenching his fists into a tight ball. Kirito, we just got out of a literal death game less than a day ago and you're already contemplating whether you deserve to have your own dreams? Sometimes you are so smart but so stupid, she says as she flicks Izuku's forehead. It won't stop the fact that I took 3 lives. I didn't even need to, I could have probably just subdued them but I ended them. Asuna. I know it won't and I'm not asking for you to forget, just to remember why you are fighting in the first place. If you weren't in that raid, I along with every other raid member would have died. To save us you were forced to end. It's something that would have come eventually if you became a hero. Hell, I'm sure your rotten a-hole of a father has ended people before. Great way to get your point across by comparing us. Izuku scoffs for a moment before letting Asuna continue. Shush. But seriously, don't give up everything just because you were forced into a situation where you couldn't choose. She says, trying to be truthful but trying to also cheer him up. She hates when he's mopey like this. Thanks, Asuna. Izuku says as he wraps his arms around her, embracing her with a hug and then leaning in for a kiss. It was brief but both of them enjoyed each other's taste. They let go of their kiss, leaving a string of saliva to fall to the ground. Cough on other matters, you still have Yui in your inventory, right? She says, trying to hide the obvious blush on her face. Yeah, but I think that we should wait until we get married. Izuku says as he rubs his ring finger, where his missing from SL was. Our rings, she says with a defeated expression, causing Izuku to giggle to himself in satisfaction. That's hilarious. I love your expressions, it just wants me to tease you more. What? She says, causing Izuku to drop down to one knee. Asuna, I love you. I know I've done this once already and proposed twice and we're already I'll just get on with it. With my inventory, I could take pieces of the game along with me. That includes my ring. I couldn't obtain yours unfortunately, but before we ended our little chat earlier I went to a ring dealer and coincidentally the manager, Ms. Yaoyorozu, had a duplication quirk. As it's duplicating data, I was able to change the engraving so it's like your original. Izu, she says, covering her mouth, trying her best not to tear up or cry. You're probably wondering how I could afford all of this, right? He says, getting a nod from Asuna. Kayaba actually sent me the leftover revenue for his game. I'm presuming it also meant the sales of SAO, as I'm pretty sure I have a higher net worth than Endeavor currently. Are you kidding me? She says with pure shock on her face. Not at all. So Asuna, will you agree to my proposal for a third time? Izuku says with his best puppy dog eyes. Nope, she says, completely dismissing him. PFFFFT, you should have seen the look on your face. I think that's the first time I've seen you pout. Yes, I'll marry you, you dumbass. Whatever. Izuku says with an obvious pout. I found a way for us to be wed, even if it's not exactly legal. Asuna responded with a curious gaze. If they didn't need to tell their families of their engagement, it would be for the best. Izuku hates his family and Asuna's mother would probably forbid it, but they can't do anything if they are already married. Well, all you need to do is bring your family registry and I'll do the rest. How about that? Sure, she says with slight suspicion in her voice. Bachan, take this. It's dangerous to go alone, Izuku says as he throws her lambent light towards her. Sheathed, of course, he isn't a ditz like Stella. Can you stop with the references? At some point it's going to get old. Never. How am I married to you? Asuna says with a completely exacerbated expression. I'll see you then, my love. Izuku says with a famous Aoyama wink. Okay, you cringy protagonist, just get out of here already. Just want to point out that there are multiple dual wielders in SAO. You're Jiren, right? Izuku asks, trying to confirm his suspicions. Who wants to know? Kirito, the savior of SAO? You're some celebrity kid. I'm surprised you found me, Jiren says with a slight smile on his face. If it wasn't for my tracking skills, I would still be looking. I guess you really are an information broker. I need to hire someone with a cloning quirk. Nothing serious, it's just to forge false marriage documents with parental consent. I suppose I can get in contact with a friend of mine. His name is Twice. He can clone himself, but he needs the exact measurements of them along with an image to identify the characteristics. No problem. How will your payment be? Cash, Kirito says as he opens his duffel bag full of stacks of cash. For a kid, you sure are loaded. What can I say? I aim to impress. Oh right, kid, just a warning, be careful with his girl. Toga is cray-cray and will bite you. Whatever, where and when will we meet? Izuku asks curiously. 5 hours from now is fine. Gotta give premium service for the big spenders. Sure. Izuku replies skeptically. That should be enough time to get all the right documents in place. After getting all the necessary information, family registries, and Twice, we can finally meet up. Surprisingly, getting their measurements was easy. Just check their clothing. The registries were a bit more difficult. Nice to meet you. I effing hate you already. I don't worry about it. I'll put a bullet in your head before you can care. Let's just get this over with. I don't want to do this. Fine, I've already sent you all the necessary info. Do you think you can do it now? Sure, here kid. Nah, I don't feel like it. Twice says as he begins to make clones of Inko Midoriya and Kyuko Yuki. After they've done their task, they will disintegrate. They won't. Thanks, you will get your payment from Jiren. Twicey, why are you taking so long? I still want to snuggle. A blonde-haired woman with messy buns shouts from the car window. I have to go. Time to make a cat purr. Twice says as he begins to leave, leaving Kirito with the clones of Inko Midoriya and Kyuko Yuki. Ring ring. Asuna, let's meet up at the marriage registration office. Have you finished everything on your end? Yes, sir. Ma'am. Asuna responded defiantly. Sir. Ma'am. Sir. Ma'am. Asuna shouts, almost screaming with annoyance. Ma'am. Kirito shouts out, to confuse Asuna. Sir. Ah, god damn it. It was super effective. Dodododo do dododo plus 15 XP. Izuku is evolving? Alright, I'm heat, what the hell? Mother, what are you doing here? Asuna shouts out with shock and surprise. I'm here to support your decisions, sweetie. The clone says with a fake smile. What did you do to her? Is she mind-controlled? What's the limit? Can she cook brownies for eternity? She's a clone. A clone? So that's what you did. It looks so real, she says with awe evident in her voice. I'm not an it. I am your mother and you will treat me as such. It sounds like her too. Asuna visibly shivers. I don't have to worry about my mom. She probably doesn't know I'm here, he says, causing Asuna to hug him. Ready to do this? Yeah, I'm just a bit nervous. Don't be. After this I'll hack into the police database and create a fake identity for Yui. Okay. What? We'll discuss it later, Izuku says as he steps inside the government office. Sai proof of identification? Here are passports, Izuku says, putting down both passports. Certificate of marriage notification? Here. Certificate of no impediment? Our family registers are here. Birth certificates? We have our mothers as witnesses, but we brought them also, Izuku says as he puts the rest of the documents on the desk. All right, step through to the office to sign the necessary documents, she says in a tone that screams I am so done with life. We're married. That was extremely anticlimactic, especially for the readers. Huh. What? Anyway, I'll be focusing on getting Yui and identity. I'll also purchase a house, Izuku says with glee in his voice, finally being married to the one he loves most. So time to break into the police database, Izuku says while stretching his arms and fingers. Are you re-dash? Yes. Is there any other wa-dash? No. Yui doesn't exist in this world. If I don't make her an identity, she can be taken away from us and be put into an orphanage. This is the only way where I can guarantee she will be with us. If we took her to the police station, they may not trust us with a child. Who knows? Can I at least watch? She says with a grin plastered on her face. This is why I love you. Asuna pouts slightly. I still wish I was a Midoriya. Well, I hate my family and my name and also you.a blacklisted Izuku Midoriya, not Izuku Yuki. Izuku says with a brilliant smile. Want a Netflix with a tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream? Can you get me Caramel Sutra? Sure. Izuku says as he does to buy the best ice cream by far, Cherry Garcia and Caramel Sutra. They continued their talk about Yui whilst watching Stranger Things on Netflix at some random hotel. I would have bought a larger estate, but having a mansion would serve no purpose. Having a small house similar to the one we had in Aincrad would have been best. Asuna, I think it's time, Izuku says as he scrolls through his menu hovering over Yui's heart. Please. I want to see our little Yui again. To this, Izuku activates Yui's heart. A bright light fills the room as a figure begins to appear, one that is of a small child. Yui slowly floated to the floor. She looked around and focused her gaze on Izuku and Asuna. Papa, Mama, Yui mutters with tears forming in her eyes as she rushes to hug her mama and papa. We missed you so much, Izuku says as he tightens their hug. Yui. Where are we, Mama? We're in the real world. SAO is over. You can stay with us forever. Hick, we can be together? Yes, Yui, finally. Why does Papa still have the Aincrad system? I can sense it. We can explain it later on. Let's just prepare dinner for now. Yui nods as she finally can make dinner with her mama again. Izuku is currently laying with Asuna and Yui in his room, which was designed to feel like their own home in SAO. For them it was comfortable, nostalgic, homely. Can't sleep? The entrance exam is in 2 months and I don't want to face my father or sister. Don't worry. I'll be there with you. Thank you, Asuna. You don't know how much I love you. Stop being a cheese. Mama? Papa? Yui says softly, still half asleep. Izuku brings his finger to his mouth, shushing Asuna so he doesn't wake up Yui. He leans in for a kiss before rejoining their hug and going back to sleep. Next afternoon. I think we should meet up with Sarah. Have you been able to get in contact with her? Not yet. I'm starting to get worried. You know how the party function is. They will always see it unless they are unconscious. If she has been unconscious since we left, what is it? I'm thinking about what Kayaba said. He apologized to us specifically for those who didn't wake up after the game. You don't mean? I think Sarah might be in the hospital. Asuna stood there in shock trying to process our best friend being in a hospital. Hell, she's the reason Asuna and I are even together in the first place. If it wasn't for her, I would never have confessed my feelings. She told me to take care of Arie. Because of this she told me where her residence is. I can hack into the nearby hospital's databanks to see if I can get a location, but we need to get Arie, now. Let's do this, Izu. I don't think you should come. What? She shouts out in anger, nearly waking up little Yui. If you came, we would have to bring Yui, and if she finds out that Auntie Sarah is still in the hospital it will break her heart. Yeah. But we dash. Asuna, there's also the possibility that they don't live there anymore. It's been 2 years since she talked to Arie. Anything could have happened to their family. It could get dangerous. Fine. I don't know how you can talk me out of this. I'll send you message if anything happens. You're also in my party so you can keep an eye on my HP as well. Don't worry, I'm probably stronger than All Might at this point. He says in both a confident and arrogant tone. Fine, get going you jerk. She says pouting. Again. There's might Sundra, Izuku says jokingly but not really. Shut up. She shouts as she throws a pillow at Izuku's face. 2 hours later. Ichikawa General Hospital. Could I possibly ask about a patient? Are you friends or family? Friend. What is the patient's name? Serafina Sigil. Ah, the comatose patient that's about to be discharged. She mutters. What? How is that legal? Izuku shouts out, completely furious. There's nothing we can do about it. There's no contact from their family and all the money supported by the government had stopped as well. We cannot afford to keep her here any longer. I will pay for her then. How much is the debt? 1.2 million yen, $11,000, in outstanding fees. Fine, I'll be there in 30 minutes. Please contact their doctor. I want to know everything about their condition. All right. She never told me. I would have tried to help her if I knew her effendi family were starving her half the death. Flashback. It seems because of her prior conscience, she was malnourished, practically starved to death, deprived of sleep and covered head to toe in scars. Due to her physical condition and the response from the Nervegear, she has effectively been put into a coma. We don't know when she will wake up. It could be days, weeks, months, or even years. What the hell? Izuku murmurs in shock as he looks at Sarah resting in bed, hooked up to an array of different machines. Flashback and, what the F was that? Why weren't her family paying for her? Could she really not pay for them? Arie should have gotten her quirk 2 years ago. Did they abandon Sarah after finding out her quirk? What the hell is happening? Izuku says as he furiously scratches his head. This should be their house. Izuku says as he approaches the door. Knock knock. The door opens revealing an old lady. Hello, does Miss Sigil live here? The Sigil family haven't lived here for a year and a half. There was a police investigation about the family mysteriously disappearing. They believed the little one was ended though. There was blood left in one of the rooms, which is why the house was sold cheaply, she says, causing Izuku to go into state of shock before recovering himself. Do you think I can look at that room? Izuku says as he enables his tracking vision, showing the floor full of unique footprints. Sure. If it helps bring you peace. Izuku walks into the home, taking note of the most common prints, likely the family. There are several unique prints, probably friends of the family. He heads into the room and notices the obvious child's footprints that just disappear. This usually meant that she stopped moving or was picked up. Izuku takes note of the other footprints. They were unique. They stop about a few inches away from Arie, in a sporadic movement meaning that they might be involved. He thinks back about the investigation. If Arie is really dead then the footprints would disappear, meaning she was kidnapped or the family moved away unexpectedly. Izuku leaves, focusing his vision on the unique footprints and following them. Thanks for everything. This really helped. If anything happened to Arie, there will be hell to pay. Izuku tracked footprints to an abandoned building a few miles away. He lingered in the shadows, activating his stealth skills, and noticed them guardian crates of weapons? Drugs? Who knows? But at the end of the hallway, I see small children's footprints as if they had been running. He sees individuals on the lookout. He uses his stealth skills to pick one off for questioning. He uses a paralysis dart to stop his movements and his quirk. Little birdie, care to tweet on what your bosses are doing here? You think you're scary? You should see Overhaul. You don't scare me one bit. This caused Izuku to smile in glee. He can let loose a little bit. Just give him a few minutes. Oh, 1 chop. 2 chops. Izuku says with a slight smirk. After a few minutes of cutting, the man finally agrees. Fine, please Hick, just stop. What the hell is wrong with you? Many things. But aren't we getting ahead of ourselves? Izuku says, holding his elucidator to the man's neck. Fine. I heard rumors that they are using a child to make a drug. I don't know any more than that. The boss only tells the higher-ups. I think one of the higher-ups called her Arie. He says, with fear filling his entire being. That's very valuable information. I guess I'll let you leave with your manhood intact. Izuku says, this causing the man to sigh in relief. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to hang them by the ceiling, whether they rip off or not. I guess that's up to you. Try not to struggle too much. Yo, you're insane. No. I'm your personal demon. You can call Lil Ol me, the demon dressed in black if you wish. Apparently, they are using a little girl for experiments, for a quirk erasing drug. Her name is Arie. Izuku realizes that he couldn't protect Arie. He couldn't keep his promise to Sarah. But I'm sure as hell going to make them wish they were dead. Izuku's aura darkens. He never tries unless it's life or death. But this, he can't afford not to try anymore. The demon dressed in black dances in the hallways, always barely out of sight. Look to the shadows and your death draws near. He is merciless as the knife go chop chop chop. You should know there is always something to fear. Hit count as your fingers as they drop drop drop. After all is said and done, when the demon dressed in black lingers, all your fears, your nightmares and your death are at the tip of his fingers. The demon dressed in black leaves a trail of blood on the walls, almost like a shadow. Nothing can, Hick, touch him. So the demon dressed in black. Hick, please don't end me. There is always something to fear. When the demon dressed in black appears. After cleaning out the fodder, I see a group of 3, they are a part of the 8 bullets I suppose. Based on their descriptions they are Toya Setsuno Yuhoko and Sormitsutabe. I linger barely out of view, appearing behind Setsuno, I grab his mouth to stop him alerting the others and hit the back of his neck, knocking him out. Yuhojo notices me and sends his crystallized quirk towards me. I easily slash the crystals apart with my elucidate. Skill activation, Senda. Tabe tries to take a bite out of me but I smash the bottom of his jaw, breaking his teeth to pieces. I throw Tabe towards Hojo as a distraction. Skill activation, Meteor Fall. I charge him with my sword, his gaze narrows onto it as I throw it into the air. His gaze lingers on the thrown weapon as I punch his chest, causing him to cough blood. I catch my sword and strike his crystallized barrier, completely obliterating it. He falls unconscious soon after. I move further down the halls to find Kendo Rappa and Hekiji. They notice my presence. They erect a barrier. I smirk to myself as I grip my weapon and charge forwards. Skill activation, Rage Spike. I lunge forwards, completely shattering their barrier and piercing Rappa in the shoulder, almost severing his arm. He tries to punch me but I jump on top of his fist and deals a heavy kick to his jaw, knocking him out. I look towards the barrier user with a glint of intent in my eyes. He visibly shivers as I kick out his legs, making him drop to his knee. I finish him off by smashing my knee into his nose and knocking him out. As with everyone else, I tie them up in a way that inflicts as much pain as possible. I find 3 more people, Mimic, Nemoto, and Sakagi. Sasaki immediately tries to disorientate me but my skills prevent weak debuffs. Each of them are practically fodder. I knock them out with ease. I begin to leave as I notice my mistake. Shin Nemoto quirk, Confession. His quirk allows him to force his victim to answer truthfully after he asks a question. Who are you? I am the demon dressed in black. I say before snapping out of it. Apparently, it only works on your current thought processes. I am a demon and I will send them all straight to hell. I think as I launch a kick to the already down questioner, knocking him out cold. I get to the back room where I see 2 men and a little girl. That must be Arie, she doesn't look like Sarah's sister at all. The 2 men are visibly surprised by my presence. One of them begins to take off his gloves. I have a bad gut feeling. I launch a paralysis dart before he could. He drops to the ground, I really wish I could have used this against the barrier and crystallizer. I move across the room and kick chronostasis away before he can get near Arie. He launches his hair towards me as I dodge with ease. They look as if they are slow motion. I guess the system helps me more than I thought. I appear behind chronostasis and I kick him in the arm, hard enough to break it and launch him into the concrete wall. I look over to Arie as I kneel down to her height. Everything's going to be alright. Because I am here, Izuku says with a smile. Although he hates the old man, he can at least help bring hope to those who need it. Arie looks up at me in shock. Her eyes start to tear up as I hug her protectively. I'm here to save you, Arie. My name is Kirito. I say my avatar name almost instinctively. She buries her head into my shoulder as she continues to cry. As she does, I notice a figure appear behind me. It was Overhaul. Apparently, the dart had worn off. I hold Arie's head to not show her what I'm about to do to Overhaul. She is am I, he shouts with rage and anger filled in his lungs. You really think you have a choice anymore? What I'm about to do shouldn't be seen by anybody. Arie-hun, cover your ears, I say, causing her to nod and to follow my request. Another thing, I say slowly moving towards him. She is not yours. How dare you? How dare you treat Arie like this? I shout, letting my rage get the better of me. I thought I had control over my emotions. No, that's not it. He just doesn't deserve my mercy. The fun is about to start. Try not to die too quickly, he says, causing Overhaul to feel fear. Because for those who tries to hide from the demon dressed in black, you cannot escape from that which is inevitable. The demon dressed in black always pays its dues. You can only hope and pray that you aren't under its gaze. Investigative questioning. Tsukachi, what was the purpose of your operation? Pawn 1, we don't know. Only the higher-ups does. But whatever they were doing, it must have been bad. The devil pays its dues. We cannot escape, we can only live in fear, praying he doesn't look to us again. Tsukachi demon? Could you elaborate on that? Pawn 1. The demon dressed in black. What a sick F-dash. He's a monster in human skin. A creepy F-er as well. Tsukachi, could you speak more about this demon in black? Pawn 1. No, if I tell you any more than that? Shivers, I'd rather hang myself and get over with than deal with that demon. Please put me in Tartarus, whatever secure facility you have, just get me away from that monster, I am begging you. Tsukachi, I have heard about the demon dressed in black from another individual. Could you elaborate on his appearance? Pawn 2, you think I'd squeal on that monster? He'd cut me 1,000 times over. It starts at your fingers, they go chop 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 chop. Sai, can you tell me about the demon dressed in black? Pawn 25. Pukes everywhere. Tsukachi, OFNG Christ. Call the janitor, this is the 9th FA time already. Tsuki, the demon in black. Pawn 75, you think you're FING scary? I have personally met the underworld leaders, I've seen everything. You name it, I saw it. But that thing isn't human. Overhaul, atrocity, venom, all for one for FS sake. I'd rather go through whatever sick sheet they would do to me compared what that demon would do. You would never understand true fear unless you met him. Just put me in Tartarus, the further away, the better. Tsukachi, tell me about your operations and the demon dressed in black. I understand you must be under a lot of pain medication due to the dismemberments of your arms, legs, and private areas. Kai Chisaki, Overhaul. I hate this world. Everyone is filth, tainted by quirks. I merely wish to remedy this fault. I tortured a little girl called Arie in order to extract blood from my quirk erasing bullet, as she has a quirk that can rewind any organic object including quirk factors. My process was nearly finished. I have some half-finished ones that will disable quirks for several hours. This caused the detective to almost vomit in his mouth. How could they do that to a little girl? More importantly, where is she currently? As for that demon, if you see him, just end yourself. You can't run, you can't hide. The amount of pain he will rain down on you is more than what I can do, and I can disassemble people, tearing each of their cells apart and inflicting a pain worse than death. I regret everything I've done. If I had a choice, if I knew what I was about to go through, I would have ended myself. Just knowing that demon is out there, lingering in the shadows, is enough to want me to end it all. If you had been what I had to go through, please, just end me? There is always something to fear. When the demon dressed in black appears, the detectives in charge of this case are terrified of what could cause such a prideful man as Overhaul to not only wish for his death but to actually cry. The rumor of the demon dressed in black spread through the precinct and then to the street until it became a local folklore with his famous phrase, "There is always something to fear." When the demon dressed in black appears, Izuku enters the living room. He notices the TV and sees Asuna and Yui. Eri is currently asleep in his arms, exhausted from what they did to her. Izuku already gave her a healing potion as he has hundreds in reserve. This had also cured all of her physical scars. Her mental ones, however. "Hey hun, did you find anything?" Asuna says as she sits on the couch watching Frozen. "You're watching Frozen without me. With Yui as well?" "Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I found Arie. And I had a little fun at the expense of others. I really got to let loose." "Kiri no?" Asuna visibly shivers as that remark, remembering what happened to the monsters on the front lines. "Kiri, yes. I'll tell you what happened in a little bit." Arie is scared of new people. "I was hoping to introduce her to Yui as a sister." Izuku says, in mind with the fact that Yui had experiences with helping the mental health of others, maybe she could help Arie come out of her shell. "You don't mean?" Asuna holds her hand over her mouth whilst stifling a laugh. "Yup, Sarah is about to become my daughter because we are adopting Arie," Izuku says, causing a glare from Asuna. "Great, but that's not how it works, I think," Asuna says with some confusion. "That's what you're worried about?" Izuku says in mock shock. "Oh, there's no doubt that we were going to adopt Arie. If she was given to police, they would put her in an orphanage. She has no relatives that are able to care for her, and you obviously want to keep the promise you made to Sarah." "I'm going to fake Arie's documents as well. Have fun watching Frozen, I guess. Just don't watch Moana without me." Sure, she says with a slight smirk. "Asuna no?" "Asuna yes. Now go hack into the police database and make Arie a fake profile." "Fine, my bossy Tsundra," he says, pecking Asuna on the cheek before heading upstairs. "You dash. The ground is so soft." "Soft?" I jolt up, looking around. Where did they take me this time? They are just going to take me apart again. Where am I?" I mutter out. "Ah, you're awake?" The mysterious voice makes me jump slightly. I look towards him. He has green hair and green eyes. Memories flash back to my mind. "It's you. You came for me. You took the bad man away." I begin to tear up remembering he saved me. "I couldn't leave with you with him, Snowball," he says with a soft smile on his face. "Snowball? What does that mean?" "I promise you, you won't be hurt anymore. You're finally free," he says. He doesn't look like he's lying. Am I really free? Can I be happy? "Pinky promise?" I ask. Sis never broke a pinky promise. "Pinky promise," he says, actually promising me. He's a nice person. "Your name is?" "Kito?" "Ah, that was my mistake. My name is Izuku Yuki. I used to have Kiritu as a nickname. Izuku. I came looking for you, Arie. I'm a friend of your sister, Sarah." "Sarah Nai?" He knows Sarah Nai? "Sarah Nai? Is she okay?" "She left one day. I was so scared." "Can I see her? What if the hurt Sarah Nai like they hurt me? What if Sarah Nai is gone?" "She's currently okay. She's unwell though. She will recover eventually," he says with a reassuring smile. "Maybe I can trust him?" "Do you want to meet my family, Arie? My wife and daughter." "Wife and daughter?" Yup. My wife, Asuna Yuki, and daughter, Yui Yuki. He has a wife and daughter. He looks young. "Do we have to go now? I don't know if they are friendly. Izu is nice, but we don't have to if you don't want to. How about this? I show you around the house and then we can go shopping for you?" "Would you like a snack?" "A snack?" "Yeah, breakfast will be done soon. My wife is cooking some cinnamon apple muffins. Her food is the best." "Apples?" "I think I know apples. Apples are tasty." "Yeah, apples. They are sweet, juicy, and taste really nice. Would you like to try one?" I nod to his question. "Let me go get one. The breakfast will be done in about 20 minutes. Izuku POV. Hey, Asuna? It's much worse than we thought. She's scared of practically everything. We are gonna go shopping later and I will introduce you two after. And could you cut up some apples for Arie? If I get my hands on those bastache? Don't worry. They have already been dealt with. That's morbid. But thanks. No problem, let me just take this and give it to Arie, he says, snatching the plate of apples cut into bunnies. Here we go, Arie. Try one. Asuna made them cute like rabbits. Izuku says this, but Arie just looks at the plate. They look like bunnies. Hick, I don't want to eat the bunnies, Arie says as she begins to tear up. Wait, bad choice, Asuna. Izuku shouts out, rushing into the kitchen to swap the food. After a few minutes, Izuku replaced the bunny apples. Arie looks at the apple curiously before biting into it. It's so tasty, Arie says with a massive smile plastered on her face. This causes Izuku to laugh before mentioning something world-changing to Arie. You know the muffins are much sweeter and tastier, right? Would you like to try one? Arie started to drool just from imagining it. She nodded enthusiastically as Asuna finished baking the sweet treats. After watching Arie's smile from eating the muffin, we decided we needed to get her some new clothes. Arie, do you mind if I take of those bandages? This caused Arie to jump slightly, but she nodded anyway. As I take the bandages off, she looks at her arms in awe as she noticed there were no scars. How? She says, almost in disbelief. My quirk is very powerful. I can get things people can't imagine. I healed you and cured your scars, I said, causing Arie to break down crying into my chest. Thank you, Izu, she says as she continues to sob into my shoulder. Arie, would you like to go shopping with me? We can get some more treats if you'd like whilst we're out. There's a place nearby selling candy apples that I think you'd like. Yeah, she says whilst nodding. We head out a little while later. She is currently dressed in Yui's clothes, but we got her a dozen dresses. She is absolutely adorable. How dare Sarah hide this bundle of sunshine from me? I will uphold my promise, Sarah. Arie, I think it's time. Would you like to meet Asuna and Yui? If you trust them, so do I, Izu. Perfect, I'm sure you'll love them. Asuna, is it okay if I bring Arie in? Come in already, we want to meet the little snowball. I know you're mocking me, but she is. Come on, Arie, my daughter is around your age. I think it'd be good if you have a friend. Or a sister. Hi. Arie mumbled out shyly. She's so cute. It's nice to meet you, Arie. My name is Asuna Yuuki and this dolt is my husband, Izuku Yuki. The phrasing of this caused a slight misunderstanding. Don't insult Izu. Arie stands up, in front of Izuku trying to defend him. This caused Asuna to smile. A papa's girl already, huh? Arie, Asuna wasn't insulting me, she was poking fun. It's fine, I say with a slight chuckle in my voice. Poking fun? Arie says confused. It means that we don't really mean it. Asuna is just trying to be funny. She is failing miserably. Arie agrees with me, obviously. And here comes Yui. Izuku narrates as Yui curiously looks towards us. Mama, Papa, who's that? Yui asks curiously. This causes Asuna to whisper something in her ear, which causes her to have an extremely bright smile on her face. She couldn't wait, huh? Arie, I want to ask you something. Would you like to stay with us? We could give you a home. You could be a family with us. Izuku asks nervously, not knowing how to approach the topic. Does this mean you'd be my papa and mama? She says, almost whispering. I suppose it would. I stuttered out with my old habit. This caused Arie to look at me in complete surprise, shock and happiness. Yes. Thank you so much, Arie says as she begins to cry. Asuna, Yui and I surround her in a group hug which made her tears fall harder. Hair race to the amazing black swordsman and the demon dressed in black Kirito, the berserk healer Asuna and the executioner Sarah. Wait, you heard about Dash? Izuku tried to interject. Cheers. Are those names really necessary? You know it, man. It was kinda obvious when the rumor of the demon dressed in black started going everywhere. It fit you to a T, Klein says, grabbing Izuku over the shoulder. How's married life treating you? Klein says teasingly. It obviously went over Izuku's head. What? How did you figure out we married? Izuku says in disbelief, he hadn't told anyone yet. He ignores the fact that they are still wearing their wedding rings from SA. I was joking about the game. Don't tell me you actually got married. I didn't even get to be the best man. Klein sobs into the corner. Actually, we want to introduce you guys to two little angels, he says as Asuna walks in on cue with Yui and Eri in her arms. Should we really bring them into a bar? Agile asks curiously. No one's drinking alcohol, man. Loosen up. Klein defended like a champ. You have kids already? Wait, isn't that Lil Yui? How is that even possible? Agile says with shock laced in his voice. Kayaba. Izuku says, causing everyone to go, oh. That explains it. Bitch, they're so cute. Who's this munchkin? Lisbeth screams out, immediately going to hug them. Her name is Arie. We adopted her about a week ago. She is still shy with strangers. Arie looks on from Asuna's shoulder before hiding her head in embarrassment. Oh. So, Kirito, did you manage to find Sarah? That's what we wanted to talk about. Sarah, it seems that she's currently in a coma. This caused everyone to go silent, thinking about Sarah. Damn. Agile lets out. An awkward silence fills the room. We don't know when she will wake up. For the sake of Arie, I hope soon. Why Arie? She's Sarah's sister. This bombshell made everyone scream. Wait. So you're telling me you adopted Arie, the little sister of Sarah? Does that mean Sarah is technically your daughter? I guess. At least I have a reason for my dad jokes now. Don't get me started on that again. Kirito, please don't. Izu, you know I love you. That's why I'm telling you, you're a dumbass. I can't handle the dad jokes again. Lisbeth says, furiously ruffling her pink hair. Wow. I feel loved. Izuku wipes a tear from his eye. You spent 2 months in that dad mode after we found Yui. I cannot handle that again. You, Arie, you like my dad jokes, right? You're so silly, Papa. Arie giggles. Bad Papa. Yui says, hitting a book on Izuku's head. Oh, you guys just don't get my genius? Izuku says, rubbing his head. So, Kirito, what are you going to be doing from now on? I'm going to be joining the hero course with Asuna. He says as if it's the easiest thing in the world. Luckily they lifted having a quirk as a requirement. We all know you, Kirito. Even without a quirk you'd become the best. Maybe I should demonstrate something? Izuku says as he moves to the open area of the room. He summons his elucidate. Skill activation, vertical square. What the hell? You still have your skills? Wait, do I still have my skills? Klein says as he tries to perform some weird martial art moves. How is this even possible? Kayaba. Papa's so cool. Arie shouts, bouncing up and downwards. Yui eagerly nodding alongside her. Alright, we should have really suspected you had your powers back when a literal notification box told us to meet here. I thought I was still trapped in hell for a moment, right? Kirito-ni, are you going to U.A? Silica asks curiously. Yup, Asuna and I are going to U. I believe Stella is as well. I only wish Sarah would wake up before the entrance exams, however. I have a plan if she doesn't. Papa's scary. Yeah. Arie nods in agreement. Stop scaring the children. Asuna says as she hit Kirito over the head with a frying pan. Where did you even get that? It is the ultimate weapon. PUBG agrees. Asuna said with a smile, whilst everyone is imagining Asuna running around in augmented reality hitting people in PUBG with a frying pan. Just want to point out she does this with a rapier. She is legit a hacker. Kirito at least reacts to them, she just turns on aimbot. Like WTF. Our worst nightmare. That's why she's the berserk healer. Kirito? Well, stop being a bully. Dad, do you really not know where he went? He couldn't have gotten far. Waking up after 2 years, he should be really weak. He shouldn't even be able to move in that state. Are you going to find him? Izumi asks in a worried tone. But it's not like he's going to accomplish anything. All Might defends his decisions. Are you an idiot? I wanted him to stop being a hero because he'd get hurt, but you just downright hate him? What did he ever do to you? Whatever, father. I'll be leaving. Kaken and I are going on a date. Izumi said with a smile on her face as she leaves. Did I really abandon Izuku because he was quirkless? What kind of father am I? I was quirkless as well before my master bestowed one for all on me. All Might says as he puts his hands on his face in disappointment. You shouldn't push yourself. He was the one that left, he's a failure. He will never be a hero, you were just keeping him safe. You're right. I did nothing wrong, Toshinori says as he buffs into All Might with that realization. And if you do meet Izuku, then we can talk to him. I doubt he could get into you, though, as you restricted him. But even then, he's quirkless, what could he even do? Maybe that was my bad, but he's always been a bad kid, who steals from their parents? He's just a delinquent. Katsuki and Shudo are much kinder than him. Yeah, once we find him we can get him a part-time job to pay for the money he took from us to buy that silly game. I love you, Inko. As do I, Toshi. Now that I think about it, what happens if I get hit by the eraser quirk? Or by a quirk erasing bullet? Would I regress to the state I was previously in the hospital before Kayaba gave me this power, or would I just be weak? I shouldn't trust Yui. I need all my bases covered. I mutter out loud to myself. Asuna, do you know Dagoba Beach? I was thinking of cleaning it up and taking the kids there. A beach trip. We need to go shopping. It's a dumb right now, so it might take a while. I might try to get a workout as well. Izuku says as he begins to think. Are there options in settings to disable the system temporarily? That way I can increase my natural strength. I need to test this. Kayaba's BS is unmatched. I need to find out whether my strength is from the system or if the system speeds up and optimizes my body structure to increase my natural strength. There's 1 month left till the entrance exams and I want to be a better father to my kids than mine was to me. We can get some ice cream, I can clean up the beach a little, then we can play a bit of volleyball with the kids. That sounds like a great idea. I'm kind of craving dango right now. Speaking of food, I think I still have some food left from SAO. I might even have some S-rank food left. Izuku mutters without realizing. This causes Asuna's to perk up almost as if she had cat ears and stares me with an interesting gaze. On floor 82 near the ruins of the Cartia castle, there were some wyverns. One of the wyverns was apparently a rare spawn and dropped item rank golden wyvern meat dash. Apparently there was enough wyvern meat to fill the stomach of a whole raid. This along with some other S-rank drop due to luck increasing items, we can make a delicious meal. Asuna suddenly starts to drool, much like Arie. I suppose the ragu rabbit meat really got to her. Why didn't you say so sooner? She says as she slams her palm on the table. I haven't been through my inventory in a while, okay? Don't judge me. I'm judging you. No golden wyvern for you then. What? I'll go get the kid. Hihiya. I love you so much, Asuna. Say as I go in for a hug. We should go out soon, just the two of us. Are you asking me out on a date? Husband, Asuna says teasingly, causing red dusting to appear on my cheeks. I smirk as I pull back my head to stare into Asuna's eyes. Why yes, my lovely wife I am, I say as I lean in to nibble the top of her ear, causing her to moan out slightly. She realizes what she did and pulled away with a red face, brighter than a cherry. What's wrong, my lovely wife? You look like you have a fever, I say with an obvious smirk as I put my hand on her forehead. WWH, what are you doing? Babaka? Asuna turns full on Sundra as I stand there, bathing in all the glory which is my beautiful wife. Too cute, I say as I lean in closer, whispering into her ear. Don't be nervous, it's not like we haven't done anything before. Baka. Asuna says, slapping me across the face in all of her flustered madness. She pouts angrily and walks away. Hey, I admit I deserve that. But God, it's hard to deal with it Sundra sometimes. I'm down at the beach with Asuna and the kids. I have my own personal cheering squad as they have a handful of dango. I managed to find a setting to disable my strength, but as I did, my strength didn't change, which lead me to believe that rather making something out of nothing, the system somehow changes my genetics or increases and compacts my muscular strength along with bone density. I tested this by punching as hard as I could, leaving a massive clearing amidst the rubble, and as expected my hand didn't break even though the system is disabled. The system changes my injuries so that if I cut off my arm it grows back just like in the game. If I disable it, instead of a digital injury it becomes a normal one. Along with this, the system disables the inventory and all of my skills, So the only physical change is to my biology. Go Papa go. Hun, are you sure the system is disabled? Yeah, I'm positive. I was cut by a piece of metal that flew towards me, I say as I point to the bloody scratch on my cheek. Asuna storms over to me and pulls me by the ear. Don't injure yourself in front of the kids. Wait, so it's fine anywhere else? Yes. She says it as if I'm stupid. Oh. You're still angry from earlier? I ask curiously. Did Papa upset Mama? Arie says with a sad expression, guilt-tripping both Asuna and I. No, sweetie, Asuna says with a fake smile. She then turns towards me and glares like a ender, her smile becoming more and more forced by the second. Fine. Stay mad, I guess I'll have all the golden wyvern to myself. I'm sure my cooking skill is high enough to make it. Last time you cooked something it was charcoal. I forgive you, just don't take it out on the food. This caused both the kids and I to think something in unison. Glutton. This time I managed to keep that comment to myself. Last time it happened? Shivers, I was put in the doghouse for a week. This cost me precious cuddling time with Asuna and Yui. That week, I learned why men fear women. I will not make the same mistakes I made in SAO. Phew. I finally maxed out my endurance column. Izuku mutters to himself as he finishes the last of the trash for the beach. Oh my goodness. A scream from the heavens cries out as someone drops from the sky. No, not yet. I don't want to meet this bastard today. Izuku thought to himself. Young man, you have done a great service by cleaning up this beach. It's absolutely pristine as it was years ago, he says with confidence and pride lacing his voice. Oh, great, Izuku says, trying to hold his overwhelming animosity back. But he notices something. All Might doesn't recognize him. He then realizes that he massively changed his appearance so that he doesn't run into any issues. So he can't even recognize his son. That's funny. Maybe I can screw him over a little bit? Izuku thinks to himself. Young man, you have quite the powerful quirk. It reminds me of my own, being able to punch away things as if it's nothing. Izuku internally screams he doesn't want to have a similar quirk to him, not that it's similar at all. You're not very talkative, are you, young man? What's your name? All Might asks with a curious tone. Kazuto Kirigaya? Izuku lied through his teeth. A name fit for a hero. I'm sure you will get far with that amazing quirk of yours. Keep up the good work. I believe you can accomplish anything. Izuku nods, trying his best not to punch him straight in the jaw. You know, you should get to know my daughter. We could even set up a quirk marriage. 2 powerful quirks such as yours would make an extremely powerful grandson. What do you say? All Might mentions in a tone that he thinks Izuku would accept without any objections. What did he just say? He wants me to be in a quirk marriage with my sister. Oh hell nah, Izuku says as he starts violently vomiting on the ground and then projectile vomiting towards All Might. Young Kirigaya, are you all right? Do you have food poisoning? Should I call a doctor? He asks with concern in his voice. What is wrong with you? First of no. Secondly, all quirk marriages are illegal. Thirdly, there is no way in the 12 layers of hell I would marry your daughter. Izuku shouts out, offending All Might. Why wouldn't Izuku marry his daughter? Other than being the symbol of peace, Izumi is his pride and joy. After 10 minutes of vomiting, Kirito finally regains his breath to shout out at All Might more. Izuku then decided he will send All Might straight to hell. Maybe not literally, right now, but figuratively? He's going to wish he was dead. Izuku double-checked his settings out of All Might's view to see if it's still automatically recording. I don't know what it is with Asuna and watching me work out in her free time. Yo ass Might, I am already married, you dumbass. Izuku says, causing All Might's trademark smile to drop to a frown. Well, marriages can always be annulled. I'm sure my Izumi would be a better wife to you than whatever skank you picked up. All Might says. Not even a split second later, Izuku launches him into the boundary wall, with a well-deserved punch to his stupid face. You are very strong, young man. That was about 40% of my own strength. All Might says, not realizing Izuku held back about 70% as to not end the fool. This essentially confirmed to him that he is stronger than Ass Might even without the rest of his system and his skills, which boost it further. Izuku wonders how much of his genetics and biology was changed. Was he even human anymore? Never. Talk about my wife like that. If you do, I'll make you into a pincushion with the number of knives I'd stab you with. You have a violent side. That's not a very heroic quality. You should think about who calls the shots and who can bar you from hero schools, jobs, and even shopping areas. That's how much influence I have, young man. Wow, such a great hero. Izuku says with a smile. In actuality, he's thinking, I'm going to destroy everything you hold dear. I wonder how far I can push you before you snap. It's video gold. So, All Might, do you mind if you answer a few of my questions? You see, I am rather curious, Izuku says with the purpose of instigating All Might. No problem, my boy, anything for a fan. So do you believe anyone can be a hero? Yes, why of course. If you train hard enough you can do anything. All Might says, even believing himself. I agree with that statement, but do you think those with unsuitable quirks or villainous quirks can become a hero? Izuku says, causing All Might's smile to falter and fall into a frown. I don't see why not. It should depend on their attitude, but they can probably become a hero or more likely a sidekick. All Might says, his expression contradicting his words. Then, how about quirkless people? Can people who are quirkless become heroes? This statement causes All Might to laugh. Ah, good joke, young man. I almost believed you were serious for a moment. All Might says as if it's the funniest thing in the world. I am, Izuku says seriously, causing All Might to literally spit on the ground. Those who are quirkless and have no power are useless. They might be able to become a cop or something, but even that's stretching it a bit far. They are worthless to our society and are a waste of life. They should never and will never become heroes. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I heard someone by the name of Izumi Midoriya was trapped in SAO. I have some suspicions to believe that he is your son. He bears quite a resemblance to your favorite daughter, Izumi Midoriya. Izuku mentions at this point All Might is in a blind rage and is truly conveying his feelings, not caring about the consequences. He's a dumbass. My quirkless son? PFTTH. It's a stretch to call him my son. He's worthless and useless. Why should we care for him? If he's stupid enough to get trapped in that stupid game, then he deserves it. If it wasn't for the government helping them with hospital fees, he would be dead. My daughter, on the other hand, is perfect. I'd still consider you an amazing son-in-law even after this, though. This statement causing anger but mostly vomit to build up inside him. He forces both of them down as he continues his questioning. Izuku chuckles to himself before continuing. With your beliefs, how are you any better than the villains you lock up? You advocate for anti-discrimination and support for the quirkless, yet you very well crush the dreams of those wishing to become heroes. Did your son want to be a hero? Of course he did. He'd never shut up about it, but I nipped that in the bud fairly quickly. Not surprising, but aren't you worried I'd tell everyone about your true beliefs? Izuku says with a curious gaze. It's not like anyone would believe you. You don't have any cameras or devices on you, and your quirk is a simple strength enhancer. You have no proof. Whilst I am the symbol of peace, regularly advocating for them. All Might says in a way which he believes he has won. How did he even know I don't have cameras on me? Is it his tech? I guess David's shield made it for him, so it's possible. I suppose that's all true. Let's go back to SL for a minute. You said those who were trapped were worthless. What about those who beat the game and the 5,000 people who died? The quirkless deserve to be put into the death game. It was better to call them off. And those who fought for their lives and beat the game were weak. If someone with a quirk joined the game, I doubt anyone would have died in the first place. All Might doesn't know what he's talking about. There were no quirks allowed in SAO. Sarah has an arguably better quirk than him, and she's in a coma. So many people died, yet he spits on them without any second thoughts. Izuku thinks to himself, I got what I need, it's time to end this. Oh, that's funny. So, I did some research in my spare time. I quite enjoyed old heroes. There was one hero named the Hopeful Hero, Paragon. Her real name, Nana Shimura. You two had such similar quirks, and your daughter does as well. Actually, it seemed that Nana Shimura had two quirks, much like your daughter, right? How odd. Izuku then goes to list on Nana's predecessors. Other than you and Izumi Midoriya, none of the others are related. It's as if your quirk could be passed down or something, Izuku says with a cocky smile. Kid, you don't know what you're saying. That is a high-level secret, not even top-level government officials have access to. To avoid it being spread, I have to take you in, All Might says as he's about to move. I quickly strike him with a paralysis dart. My favorite weapon by far, easy to make as well as I can use materials from real life to make the paralysis potion which coats the dart. All Might cuts off Izuku's thought process as he transforms back to his skinny self, right in front of the camera. It was fun talking to you, All Might, but I must be off, Izuku says as he walks right by All Might. He's unable to do anything. Wait, don't do anything rash, he pleaded. Too bad you lose, Izuku says as he waves off All Might and heads home to edit the footage. Izuku plans to make 2 videos, one which will damage All Might's reputation severely but not cripple society, and the other, well, it might cause full-blown riots and get the Symbol of Peace's license suspended. He asks Yui to help him with his project as he links the first video to hundreds of different sources so that they can't disable it, and the other video is for Nizu to blackmail him. She still has access to the cardinal system which she can manipulate with ease. This allows her to send an outgoing signal to easily hack into and encrypt practically anything she wants. Yui was more than happy to help her papa against the people who hurt him. Izuku made a lot of dango that day. You know, you should get to know my daughter. We could even set up a quirk marriage. 2 powerful quirks such as yours would make an extremely powerful grandson. What do you say? Well, marriages can always be annulled. I'm sure my Izumi would be a better wife to you than whatever skank you picked up. You have a violent side. That's not a very heroic quality. You should think about who calls the shots and who can bar you from hero schools, jobs, and even shopping areas. That's how much influence I have, young man. I don't see why not. It should depend on their attitude, but they can probably become a hero or more likely a sidekick. Good joke, young man. I almost believed you were serious for a moment. It's not like anyone would believe you. You don't have any cameras or devices on you, and your quirk is a simple strength enhancer. You have no proof. Whilst I am the symbol of peace, regularly advocating for them. This video was streamed on 100 different channels around Japan. It seems to be heavily edited, causing wonder on what else the symbol of peace might have said. Outrage ensues all across Japan, directed at the #1 hero, All Might. This just in, is the symbol of peace even a hero? It seems I was wrong. There are no true heroes, they are all fakes. All Might is a fake. Dad, you're a dumb Oh Toshi. What the hell? Nana would be kicking in her grave if she saw this. Somebody as eager as I to destroy the symbol of peace? I must find them. Hello, Principal Nizu. I am contacting you today to let you know I was the one who published the video about the fall of the symbol. You could recognize that it is a heavily edited video. I'll allow you to view the full recording and let you come to your own conclusions. Insert, fallofest.nc. Now you see, I have a lot of juicy details that the press would just eat up. So I'm going to ask for a few favors. 1. Leave a spot in the hero course open. You see, I came from SAO, and no, you can't find out my identity from it as all the databases with the users were deleted. An acquaintance of mine was an unfortunate victim of it. She helped free about 5,000 individuals with her efforts against the final boss. But sadly, due to her condition, she was put in a coma. I wish to keep this spot open for her if she does wake up in the near future. Her name is Seraphina Sigil. 2. I'm almost positive that an individual known as Bakugo Katsuki will join the hero course. He has an outstanding quirk after all. I wish for you to no matter what put him in class 1B if he does make it in. He has regularly bullied the quirkless and even told them to commit suicide. Now I don't have any proof of this, which is why he isn't in prison, but keeping him away from Seraphina would be more than enough. 3. Investigate the household of the Endeavor family. I have proof that Endeavor himself engaged in a quirk marriage, a successful product of which is Todoroki Shudo. He was trained and tortured in his childhood, causing him to lash out at others. All of his brothers and sister forced to stay away from him as to not corrupt him. He was beaten bloody until he controlled his quirk. Even now he refuses to use his fireside as it reminds him of his father. His mother's imprisonment in a mental hospital is fake. All the doctors were paid off, she is very mentally stable. 4. I am aware that All Might would be teaching at U. due to hacking in U.A's files. I want him to become a teaching assistant. He has no teaching experience and would likely endanger the lives of the students. Another friend of mine, Izumi Midoriya, is also planning to go to UA. Apparently he recently married and even has kids. Good on him, but because of this All Might will likely try to kick him out as well. I have seen Izumi Midoriya's skills firsthand. He will get into UA without a doubt. 5. Create a dormitory system in order to protect students against villain attacks. Along with this, create bigger dorm rooms for both Serafina and Izumi Midoriya, or Izuku Yuki as he is now, so that he is able to take care of his kids whilst at UA. If his wife manages to get into UA, put her in the same class as him, and put her in the same dorm room as him along with his children. Also assign a tutor for them when he is in classes. 6. If you dare leak this email or tell anyone about what I said, I will leak the full video. Fun fact, it's a part of my partner's quirk so that you can't hack or delete it. If there are even rumors of what I've done and said, the full video will go online along with all of All Might's secrets. I don't need to tell you what kind of destruction that will cause, right? The fall of the symbol of peace, a transferable quirk, and the fact that he is more of a villain than a hero. Thank you very much Nizu for accommodating my requests. Choi for now. Kazuto Kirigaya. What a smart guy. I'd rival his intelligence along with mine. To find connections with Paragon and the others. To be able to find out one for all and make All Might into a villain of the public eye with ease. What an interesting person. I'm sure we will have more fun in the future, huh? It's the entrance exam today and Asuna looks extremely nervous. She could fight something in U.A that could one-hit KO anyone, but she can't take this exam without worrying to death? I feel like I'm asking the obvious, but are you nervous? Asuna nods. Don't worry, I'm sure you will ace it. How do you know? What if I fail and I don't get into Yui? You said there will be dorms, right? What if I get separated from Arie and Yui? Asuna says worriedly, causing me to question why I didn't think this through. You have an amazing quirk, you're basically Elsa. You even made a mini ice castle for Arie. Your quirked Ice Age allows you to freely manipulate any form of ice. You can create mountains of ice, weapons, and even freeze someone with just thinking about it. Best of all, you have practically no drawbacks as the ice that builds up in your body you learn to redirect it to the ground, making it extremely versatile without drawbacks. And you can forget about any fire quirks as you can change the matter of ice making it into water. You could even flood U.A if you wanted to. You're without a doubt an amazing person with an equally amazing quirk and you shouldn't doubt yourself. Thank you. I'm so lucky to have you, she says whilst wiping the tears at the edge of her eyes. Cough, not to mention when you use your quirk your hair becomes an icy blue. It makes you a different kind of beautiful. Without your quirk, your chestnut hair makes you look like a goddess amongst mortals, and with it your icy blue hair and eyes make you look like an unattainable ice princess. You are beautiful with and without your quirk, and I'm so lucky to have you as a wife. I say, ignoring the imaginary voices that are calling me a simp. Well, you're wrong about being unattainable, because I'm all yours, she says with a sly smirk, causing me to blush madly. Stop standing in my way, you extra, someone from behind shouts as they barge into the back of my shoulder, only to get knocked down. I notice it was Bakugo. He looked up at me in shock and anger, swearing at me before getting up and walking away as if nothing happened. Who was that, sweetie? You looked like you knew him. Oh, that was simply bully number 2, the one who made me contemplate suicide. I say bluntly. I trust Asuna with my life. It isn't too far-fetched to talk about my past and how bad my mental state was at some points. It was easy enough to talk about my family with Asuna, along with all the abuse they put me through, something Asuna is familiar with. Because of this statement, Asuna began to draw her rapier with a sinister-looking smile on her face. Apparently we are allowed weapons if you made it yourself. That means through normal means or through a quirk. The rules state it doesn't have to be given mid-exam. The weapons from SAO allows them to use the stats and ability of the weapon if it has one, no matter who wields it. So it's pretty easy to prove it was a product of a quirk. I see a girl with brown hair trip, almost face plant the ground. A familiar girl with green hair saves her. It was Izumi. I do my best to dodge around her and to avoid her attention. But I felt a stare on me. I quickly moved off, dismissing it. She shouldn't know it's me due to my black hair and black eyes. We get through to the first portion of the test, which is a written one. I finished in about 10 minutes, confident I have more than 100%. Apparently Yui allows contradictions in its questions along with grammar mistakes. Sir, I finished. May I leave? I say with a yawn approaching. Did you give up? There is still a lot of time left. No, I finished all the questions and I've fact-checked it 5 times. May I leave? What is with you kids? Fine, you may leave. Make your way to the auditorium, he says as I leave the room. I sit in the empty auditorium with my seat number waiting for everyone else. Waiting. And you should not be sleeping during the explanation. Are you here just to play around? I fell asleep. Well, Mr. Sonic the Hedgehog ripoff, I actually finished the exam in 10 minutes and looked at the information sheet after I got here. I memorized the rules and also I heard a little bit of what you said during my nice nap. If you look at the sheet, it clearly states that the 0 pointer is worth 0 points. Shocker, right? Izuku says, causing everyone to laugh. We all get separated into different areas. Somehow Asuna and I got put together, which shouldn't be possible as we were separated by locations. So I guess I have to thank Nizu after this. I walk up to Asuna, who had a determined look on her face, but as I was about to do so I got tapped on the shoulder by Sonic. You aren't going to distract her and ruin her chances, right? Oh wow. You are really stupid. I really should tell you, but I want to see the stupid look on your stupid face after you find out. Okay, Sonic? This causes Ida to back off with an annoyed tone. As I was about to sheet on his pride, even more, I suddenly heard a yell from Presentation Michael himself. And Gio? This causes everyone but Asuna and I to freeze as we blitz through the city. There is no countdown. Run after them. Sheesh. Present Mike says in an exasperated tone. I go through the buildings to see if they have any robots. Everyone else would be fighting on the street, but most crimes would be inside or through back alleys out of the view of the public. My guess was right, as there was a substantial amount. As I run from building to building, clearing each one out and jumping from the roof to the next one, I see Asuna tearing apart the 3-pointers. I think everyone forgets how much of a badass my wife really is. I think to myself as I continue hopping buildings. I've amassed about 141 points, as most of the buildings were full of 2-pointers or 3-pointers. The ground begins to shake as I notice the 0-pointer. It's the size of a building, no wonder they said to avoid it. Oh, Izuku hears. Oh god damn it. He looks towards the 0-pointer to see a familiar girl with brown hair on the ground. Why does this feel like an anime always causing shit for the supposed heroine? First the tripping, now this. I think to myself as my heroic plot device personality kicks in. I sprint towards the 0-pointer. I leap into the air towards the 0-pointer, readying my elucidate. Skill activation, 100% skull splitter. I bring my sword upwards above my head and then I slash down vertically, causing the sheer wind pressure to blow me back, spinning to the ground. As I look up I see the 0-pointer cut straight down the middle with an extremely clean cut before it bursts into explosions. You alright? I think I broke my ankle? Of course you did, I said as I easily lift the concrete up. If I can fish an elephant-sized fish with ease, what's stopping me from this much? Thank you so much. You aren't injured, are you? She says with concern laced in her voice. I swore for a moment that her pupils turned into hearts, but I could just be imagining it. What's your name? She says a bit too eagerly. I'm sorry, I have to go, I say in response as I have a bad feeling. As I'm about to leave I see her gaze on my wedding ring. She looks away with an expression of determination as I feel the need to sprint away and hug Asuna. Sigh, I need an adult. We finished our exam and went home to an excited Yui and Eri bombarding us with questions. A week later we finally get our results, to which we both passed with flying colors. I hugged a very emotional Asuna who was crying tears of joy. Unfortunately, our exam discs were delivered by one of the most liked and hated people on the news right now. You know it, we know it, it's this ass mite. He explained the hidden rescue points feature, which I knew previously when I hacked into U.A's databank. The scores were shown below and Asuna and I were ecstatic that we placed both first and second. Bakuho got 5th place, to which I laughed my ass off at the self-proclaimed future #1 and symbol of victory, which was hilarious considering he just got his ass handed to him. First, Izuku Yuki, 141 villain points and 60 rescue points. 201 points in total. Second, Asuna Yuuki, 80 villain points and 50 rescue points. 130 points in total. Third, Izumi Midoriya, 75 villain points and 40 rescue points. 115 points in total. Third, Stella Vermilion, 70 villain points and 45 rescue points. 115 points in total. Fourth, Katsuki Bakugo, 92 villain points and -10 rescue points. 82 points in total. Will be moving? Arie asks curiously. Yes, Papa and Mama want to become heroes, so we are going to you today. That's where our new house will be. I get it. So we live closer so that you become the best heroes. Arie says with excitement in her voice. Yui also gives a million-watt smile, resembling a small angel. I thought they were going to take it harder than that. So Izu, have you decided yet about that? You mean the world seed? An item I discovered in my inventory that allows individuals to create their own worlds with their very own seeds. I'm worried about the backlash of it after SAO, but if I upload it and create a business selling the seeds much like a game, it would provide enough stable money and a business so that Arie and Yui can pursue whatever they want in the future. Even if Kayaba has gifted us with godlike amount of money, it's no use if it eventually runs out. The world seed has the potential to be one of the most influential forms of entertainment as it allows the use of quirks and even changes the perception of time itself in the world so they can train and hone their techniques for 10 hours in-game whilst it would only be 1 hour in real life. The only issue with that is that it doesn't affect their bodies IRL. I was thinking of having a startup package, using the old SAO mapping and floors to create a new world. Alfheim Online. They can use their quirks and have a multitude of abilities. Any quirks that would affect the game itself, like hacking quirks or dangerous quirks, would be disabled, however. I'm sure you will do great. But we really need to get packing. We need to G-Jasuno was cut off by Izuku, who simply just took all the items into his inventory. That's convenient, my own personal shopping bag. Asuna says with a happy smile, causing Izuku to shiver slightly. We get to the dorms where 2 students, Momo and Shudo Todoroki, have already set up. We walk past them with Arie and Yui, causing Momo to question them. Excuse me, you shouldn't bring children onto school premises, no matter how adorable they are. They were allowed by the principal, so please move because you are scaring my daughters, Izuku says as he sees Arie and Yui beginning to tear up. Momo tries to comfort them to no avail. She made 2 plushies of me that causes them to wear a bright smile on their faces. I already have my own hero merch, I mutter to myself. Shudo keeps his stare on Asuna, which causing Izuku to have an urge to punch him. I understand the Todoroki household, but he better not pull some crap, like father like son. I am not handing off my wife. We head to our dorm room, which looks pretty barren. We spend a few hours ripping up the floorboards, replacing the paint, which causes Yui and Eri to giggle when they get some paint on their faces. After we are finished, our dorm room looks like a mini apartment. Reminder, gotta thank Nizu for this as well, I think to myself. The apartment comes with its own kitchen, living room, 2 showers, and a bedroom. Apparently Nizu also added a fruit basket, along with another basket full of exotic butters. I guess he really doesn't want to get on Kazuto's bad side, so he's trying to curry favor. After everything is set up, I noticed Yui and Eri fell asleep, probably exhausted from helping us out. We tucked them into bed as we headed down to the common area, which we saw everyone giving introductions. We sat down as people started to talk. Hey Izuku, come sit next to me, the brown-haired girl says a little bit too enthusiastically. It honestly reminds me of Sakura. As we sit down, the introductions begin, by order or seat number. My name is John Doe. My quirk is called aura manipulation. Essentially every quirk has an aura. When you use it, I can manipulate my own aura to match yours or to even strengthen it. In simple terms, when you use your quirk, I can also use it, but a stronger version of it. I like my family, and I also want to be a hero to show there are no such things as villainous quirks. My name is Mina Ishido. Nice to meet you, My quirk is called acid. I can produce acid from my skin, but if it's too acidic it starts to harm me. I like dancing and I also like my best friend. This causes a certain redhead to become as bright as his poorly dyed hair. I'm Tsuyu Ajui, my friends call me Tsu. My quirk is called frog, which basically gives me the biology of a frog. My name is Tenya Ida. My quirk is called engine. I have engines in my calves which allows me to increase my speed and help with maneuvers. I expect everyone to follow the rules. The cliché rule stickler. I'd laugh if he got class president. My name is Ochako Uraraka. My quirk is called zero gravity. When I touch someone I can turn off their gravity. Pretty simple. I like mochi and I also like. Never mind. Sakura vibes turning from 50% to 150%. My name is Stella, a very familiar red-haired woman tries to say before being cut off. Princess. It's been so long. You changed a lot, haven't you? Izuku says as he hugs Stella with pure happiness. A certain chestnut-haired girl glared at him for a moment before sighing and replacing it with a happy smile. Who? Izuku? Ho, W. You're alive. What happened to your hair? Your eyes? She says in pure shock before beginning to tear up. I tried to get in contact with you but I couldn't. I'm so happy we can talk again. I want you meet someone after this. I say with the intentions of introducing her to Asuna, Eri and Yui. We really need to catch up after that death game, she says with a small smile. My name is Stella Vermilion. I come from the royal Vermilion family and my quirk is Leviathan. It allows me to draw a sword which gives me the abilities of a dragon. I like my best friend Izuku, platonically he's like my brother, don't get any funny ideas. I like fighting and I dislike those who look down on others. After going through Kaminari, Kirishima, Kuda, Satu, Shuji, and Jairu introductions, it was now Izumi's. My name is Izumi Midoriya. My quirk is a mixture of all mites and Tatsumakis as you can guess. I'm their daughter. I like my boyfriend Bakugo Katsuki who is in 1B for some strange reason and I also like my family. She says as she shifts her gaze to Izuku. She wipes away the tears in her eyes before focusing on something else. After Tokoyami's, Todoroki's, and Hagakura's introductions it was now Asuna's. I am Asuna Yuuki, my quirk is called Ice Age. I can manipulate any and all forms of ice and bend its matter to my will. My quirk has no drawbacks. I love my husband and my kids. This causes shock to go around the room. I think I even heard some yellow-haired prick call her a slut. I was about to draw my weapon but Asuna stopped me. A certain half-and-half boy was glaring at Izuku but then changed to a firm gaze on Asuna. I'm gonna make what I did to the zero-pointer look like child's play if he keeps staring at my wife. My name is Izuku Yuki. My quirk is called Drawing. It allows me to summon items and weapons from a void-like entity. I craft the weapons and items myself and these weapons can improve your strength, speed, etc. Since my quirk is a dual quirk, much like Todoroki-san's, I also have a strength enhancer. I love my wife and my kids and I hate my biological family, I say with an equally strong vigor as Asuna, to make it clear that I am taken. This makes everyone realize that he most likely adopted his children as he wouldn't just state he hates his kids. This causes a certain brunette to look down in disappointment at the fact he's taken and Stella to squeal in joy only to realize he didn't invite her to his wedding, causing her to pout angrily. My name is Momo Yayarozu. My quirk is called Creation. It allows me to create any inorganic object. Mina pulls Asuna aside along with the other girls. I gotta know the deets. You got kids and married to that hunk? Tell me more. We were both trapped in Sao. I'm sure you heard of it. Well, Izuku and I met early on and we gradually started to like each other. Our friends supported us and we got married in the game. When Izuku, Sarah and I cleared SAO, we met up in real life and decided to remarry. We adopted Arie and Yui, our kids. Wait, he beat that death game? Each of the girls yell out. I know Izuku had it in him. I knew he could be a hero, but saving 5,000 people? That takes skill. He doesn't really care if anyone knows. But people in the game that had met him fear him like the Black Plague. He is also very protective, Asuna says, reminding herself that Izuku, Asuna, Eri, Yui, and Sarah were in a party so they can see each other's vitals. Izuku physically moved Sarah so that she joined the party to keep track of her status, but he keeps the party bar hidden from everyone except me. He sounds like a great guy. My brother was also in that death game. When he woke up he left. What was Izuku's last name before he married you? She says in a tone that was holding on to hope. She didn't want to think it was her brother. He was quirkless and had different hair and eyes. This causes Asuna to have a wide smirk on her face. Izuku Midoriya. Asuna says, causing Izumi to have an expression of pure shock. Asuna did what Izuku wanted and just clicked the save button, saving that face until the end of time. After the initial shock of her brother actually being at Yaoi. So let me get this right. Not only is my quirkless brother suddenly studying at Yaoi, one of the most prestigious hero schools, he actually does have a quirk, along with a wife and 2 children. She asks skeptically, trying to confirm all the facts. You also forgot the fact that he has a lot of kind friends and family to support him. Hell, he even has his own fan club, I say with a hint of annoyance in my voice. Even I have my own fan club, but all of the members are just perverts that follow me around. What? His own fan club, you say? She asks with pure disbelief. Even most heroes don't have fan clubs, so why does Izuku have one? I bet she's thinking. Yup, love Mika-senpai. I strained my voice uttering that name. I think I'm going to need to sit down. You see, when we were trapped in SAO, there were many that loved his looks, personality and skills, so they dedicated a fan club to him, which I found out still exists on the old forums. They didn't dare do anything due to him being literally married to me. I think in the end there were 400 members, which is surprising seeing as there were around 5,000 who actually survived SAO, so 10% of SAO was in his fan club. I see. Do you think he will forgive me? She asks with a sad tone which makes me want to vomit my spine. Is this how she won over people? By acting all cutesy, I can see why Iza doesn't like her. Ahaha. I laugh maniacally. Wow, what's so funny? The fact that you even believe there's a chance of forgiveness. You tormented him to contemplate suicide several times. Not only that, Bakuho actually told him to end himself. You thought, no, he wouldn't tell you that. My brother doesn't trust anyone that much. He used to not be able to. And whose fault do you think that is? Maybe his sister and friends that he looked up to for so many years, only to have a knife stabbed in his back. He tells me everything because he can trust me with all his heart. You know that, right? He still thinks about it. He is still damaged, and I dare you to even try to hurt him more, and I will give you torture worse than the demon dressed in black could. I shout as I slam down on the table. You know his father, right? Izumi asks me curiously. I guess she wants to find out if he's keeping secret from me. Pathetic. He tells me everything, and Asmite will be teaching here, he knows that. I advise you not to tell Daddy dearest that his quirkless son is in this school. Although he's fine with you knowing, he will not tell Asmite. Something about making him suffer from his own hands, that's one of the main reasons he dyed his hair and eyes. I say in a bored tone. Fine, but how did he manage that though? Cosmetic quirk specialists cost a lot. Izumi asks curiously. This causes me to smile as he has more wealth than the number 2 hero. He didn't go to 1, but that doesn't mean he's poor. He can create items beyond your imagination. That also means items that can shift his appearance as he wants. He could have looked completely different, but I'm sure that he didn't because of the ones who know and care about him. The only one he doesn't hate is Todoroki-san. But I believe the way he stares at me, I think that will change soon. Todoroki-san has a bad upbringing, I'm told. But that isn't my story to tell. Everyone around us was just watching and listening to our conversation. Momo wants to change the conversation, and Mina jumps up and suggests that we play truth or dare to learn more about each other. So, do you guys want to play a game? Momo asks in a shy tone. Please, truth or dare, truth or dare. Mina replies excitedly. Oh, Izumi, truth or dare? Truth. Why did you bully Izu for so many years? At the beginning it was to stop him from being a hero, but I gradually started to think maybe Kaken's right. What if he is just a Deku? That was about 4 years before he got trapped into SAO, and when the bullying ramped up, Izumi said with no lies in her voice. I nod as we get going with more questions. Let's get some less dark questions, alright gals? Asuna. Truth or dare? Truth. How far have you gone with your husband? If you're asking whether we consummated our marriage, I believe that was obvious. Whether we have children of our own has been discussed, and we decided it was best after we've gotten our hero licenses. What? Everyone screams as that statement. I mean, it's true though, in SAO and IRL we consummated both marriages, and after Izu proposed the question about kids to tease me, but when I mentioned after we became heroes he became bright red, it was so adorable. But you gotta give me the deets, girl. How big was he? Did he take the lead? How long did you know him before you know? Mina's questions start to annoy me. I did the only rational thing I could think of. Threaten her. The game says one question, and I'd rather not talk about how big my husband is, although it's surprising to say the least. That's for only me to know. It's like story plot demanding you get picked. Truth or dare? Truth. How has my brother been? Sigh. Izu has gotten better. He was lost when he first entered SAO. If not for Stella, I don't know what would have happened. He's getting better since then. He opened up a lot whilst we were dating, and the things he doesn't want to tell me is only to protect me, but even that's rare. He talks about how much he detests your family, even going as far as to take my surname and to get rid of his genetic features so he would never be called a Midoriya again. Do you think I can talk to him at some point? Well, if you want to take your chances, I'm sure he won't slice you in two on a good day. The one thing I'm certain of is that he will never forgive you and your family, along with Bakuho of course. I see, she says with a downcast expression. Most of the game was pretty boring, apart from teasing Mina about that red-haired guy who couldn't shut up about everything being manly. Mama! You're back. Mommy! Look at what we drew. Arie and Yui announce as they both hold up pictures of her, Izuku, Arie and Yui in one big happy family. Their drawings were adorable. Did you two have fun? Yeah. Auntie Stella was so cool. She showed her sword. Papa even fought with her. Arie says as she punches the air lightly to mimic her dad. Forgetting what Papa said a few minutes ago. Oh, did he now? I asked with venom in my voice. Thankfully the kids didn't notice. Yeah. Daddy almost got hurt, but he ducked under and hit her stomach. Daddy is the strongest. Yui shouts with pure happiness and pride in her dad. It makes me want to hug her and never let go, but first? Well, Dad is about to learn the pecking order around here and why he shouldn't fight in front of you too. I say with a forced smile. Izuku POV. Whilst Asuna is busy with her, I should show Stella my pride and joy. Dirty-minded readers. Hey princess, remember what I wanted to show you, right? I say, eagerly wanting to show her nieces. She nods, expecting something. Well, come with me. I say as I bring Stella towards my expanded dorm room. Why is this room so big? I got put in a tiny hut. This is like a full-blown apartment. And also, why is this on the girl's side? Stella asks in disbelief. Well, Nizu let Asuna and I stay together. As I have literally no libido for anyone other than my wife, and the other reason is, well, let me show you. I say with a slight smirk on my face as I enter the room. I see two angels pretending to be asleep, while trying to anyway. Eri, Yui, you're awake? I say with a small smile. We tried to sleep, Papa, but Mama and Papa didn't read us a story. Well, if that's the case, would you like to meet one of my dear friends? Papa's friends? You have some? And just with that comment, my heart was broken. Why, Princess, you can come in now. I say as Stella walks in, and her eyes were immediately drawn to the two little fairies laying in their beds. You have more sisters? She asks with disbelief that I didn't tell her that. She's about to be even more surprised. What? They are my daughters. You have daughters. And you didn't tell me? How? They must be more than 5 years old. If they are that age, that means you had them 3 years before OOOH, meaning that you kept this massive secret from me. How could you? Stella says as she drops to her knees, repeatedly banging the floor with tears in her eyes. They are my adopted daughters, I say with a deadpan expression. Oh, that makes sense. She shrugs it off rather quickly as she makes her way to Yui and Eri. Anyway, consider Eri and Yui your nieces. Are you my auntie? They both ask almost in sync. Yes, I'm your aunt. I'm going to spoil you. What toys would you like? We have enough toys. they said as they hug the plushie of their dad. Arie mutters something about apples but is too quiet for us to hear. Ah, so cute. Bleg, and just like that she drops dead in pure bliss. I kick her to wake her up. So Izuku, you managed to get into UA, but what's up with that quirk? Last time you said you were quirkless. Stella says as she unconsciously pulls Arie and Yui into a hug. They slam her sides with equal force as they give her a bone-breaking hug. Stop it, you dirty-minded readers. Second warning. It was a gift for defeating Sao? Gifted a quirk? Weird, but alright, she says as she begins to stretch. Completely believing everything I said, I'm not the type to lie to my friends or family. White lies are fine though. What are you doing? Stretching for our fight? She says as if it's the most obvious thing in the world. Fight? You got stronger, right? So have I. You know that dragon thing you told me really upped my abilities. I really want to see which one of us is stronger. I don't think we can fight it, you. I state with a defeated expression. Stella whines, causing both Arie and Yui to glare at me with the force of 1,000 suns. Papa, Arie says with a pout. Daddy, don't be mean to Auntie. I can just hack UA's systems to make it seem like we are still here. And we want to watch Daddy fight. Yui says with a slightly smug expression. Is she learning that from me? Am I a bad role model? I dramatically fall to my knees with tears pouring from my eyes. Papa? Arie tilts her head cutely. Alright. You get to see a fight between me and Auntie Stella. Just don't tell Mom, okay? Yay! It's been a while since we did this. I say as I finish my stretches. Then come, I said in a dramatic anime voice. Stella sprints forwards, drawing her blade as she ran. I summon my elucidator and our blades clash. I could easily overpower her, but my kids are watching. I should at least make it entertaining. Even with me holding back, she is getting overpowered. I know. I desummon my elucidator and summon my old, anneal blade. I focus more on speed than strength to wear her down and to make myself look like a badass anime swordsman in the process. I look over to my kids who have stars in their eyes. I continue to redirect her hits as flames try to engulf me. Come on. Why are you holding back on me? She shouts with anger in her voice. TSK, I was trying to put on a show for my kids, but if you don't want me to hold back, that's fine. I'll put it all into one attack to show the difference in our power. I say as she tries to slash with her weapon. I duck under it, trimming the hair on my head in the process. I drop my weapon and punch her stomach, causing her to stumble back. She clutches her stomach as she lands on her knee, supporting herself with her weapon. She looks up at me with a glare in her eyes. She pushed herself upwards and started walking towards me. The results should have been obvious. Oh, you're approaching me? Instead of running away, you're coming right to me? I can't beat the shit out of you without getting closer. What? How dare you? How dare you say that in front of my kids? It's time to end this, Stella. What? I only said, I'm dead, aren't I? She says in a defeated tone. Frayed so, princess, omi wa mao shindu. Nanny? Skill activation. Dimensional slash. Shatter. Stella's sword falls to pieces. Stella drops to her knees at the sheer amount of power I hold. Arie and Yui ran up to Stella and I. That was so cool. Daddy, can you fight again? Please? Yui shouts happily. Arie nods eagerly. Sorry kids, I think Auntie Stella is exhausted. I say as I hear her mutter with a defeated tone. You really have gotten stronger, haven't you? The sheer cuteness of the two almost makes me bend to their will. Keyword almost. We need to get you two to bed as well before Mommy gets mad. I say as I remember the last time I incurred the wrath of Asuna. Okay, Papa. Oh, and remember, don't tell Mom. Hi. After tucking the girls into bed, I head to the common area to grab a drink. I get pulled aside by Todoroki, of all people. Todoroki says coldly. Me. I shout with a smile. Break up with Asuna, Yuki? He says in his usual emotionless tone. Break up with Asuna? Is he all right in the head? Can't really break up unless we divorce, which isn't going to happen. You don't deserve her. You are weak compared to me, he says with pure arrogance. I can beat ass might and he thinks he could beat me? What kind of an idiot is he? Well, that isn't really true now, is it? It is. I am a much more suitable match for her than you. Careful, Todoroki. Your endeavor is showing, I say with the best reference on planet Earth. What? He asks confused. You think I don't know? Endeavor put you through hell and stopped you from seeing your brothers and sister all because he wanted the perfect child to beat All Might. You are doing exactly what Endeavor is doing. Actually, it's kind of funny. Your mother had a good ice quirk and my wife has an amazing one. Wait, don't tell me you're a mommy's boy? Ha! Shut your mouth before I make you. He says with pure anger in his voice. Certainly different from his usual emotionless tone. You should chill out. I'm leaving, he says blankly. Yeah, nice talking to you. Remember, if you don't leave her, I will make your life hell. And if you keep trying to get with my wife, not only will I burn Endeavor to the ground, I'll do the same to you. I say with a happy and chipper voice. Like you could. So, Izuku Yuki, what was this I heard about you fighting with Stella? I hear Asuna say from behind. Oh God. Now, even God isn't going to save you from what I'm about to do to you. Please no. I say as I run to the exit. Izu, you can't run and you can't hide. Asuna seemingly teleports in front of me with a demonic expression on her face. Asuna, hun, you don't have to do this. Oh, but I do, you see. You're already dead. Yui and Eri, are you ready for your first day of school? I asked in a soft tone. Yes, Dad. Yui shouts eagerly. I see their adorable outfits and I can't help but smile. Quietly takes a picture without anyone noticing. Lock screen photo obtained, _. Arie quietly nods in agreement. I guess she isn't used to new people. At this moment I see a familiar figure at my door. What am I? A bear? A mouse? I'm the principal of U.A. He says cheerfully. Arie looks at him as if he's a massive teddy bear. I guess she's going to be fine, I think caused me to chuckle lightly. Principal. Nice to meet you. I have been told of your antics. I'd rather you not introduce my daughters to thoughts of world domination or anything of the like. I say in a completely serious tone. No promises, he says a little bit too eagerly. Arie, Yui, are you ready? Yes, Papa. Take good care of them, Nizu. I say with a slight venomous tone to put across my warning. I'll go wake up Mama for her first day as well. Have fun, you too. I say as I hug both them and kiss Yui's and Erie's foreheads, causing them to giggle happily. Asuna, I say softly as I shake her a bit. Her expression when she's asleep almost makes me want to not wake her up, especially after yesterday. Asuna, wake up, I shout, causing her to move her pillow over her head to block out the sound. 5 more minutes. We are going to be late for the first day. Arie and Yui's first day, I need to get them ready. She shouts as she sits up immediately. I've already done it. What? I wanted to see them in their uniforms. Asuna says in a sad, depressed tone. Well, you could have if you weren't acting like a boulder. Are you calling me fat? Oh no. No. I'm not touching those topics. I still have a scar on my shoulder from when Stella stabbed me. I say as I leave for homeroom. I approach Class A's ridiculously sized door. Why do they even have this? If someone was that size, they wouldn't be able to sit in the room properly, let alone the desks. Asuna is slowly walking behind me. Obviously, she didn't get enough sleep. Maybe she's feeling guilty. You know, after beating me to near death. At least I'm not in the same class as Bakugo, I mutter to myself as I enter the room. I sit at the back of the room where my assigned seating is. Asuna joins next to me as we wait for everyone to enter. As the rest walk in, including the annoying brown-haired girl, I notice the tired figure on the floor. This is our homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa, also known as the Eraser Hero, Eraserhead. This is the hero course. He mutters in a low tone, causing everyone shriek in shock at his stealthy entrance. It took 8 seconds before you were quiet. Some of you are alert, others need to pay more attention. If this was a villain attack, those seconds you wasted would have costed your life. Time is limited, some of you aren't rational enough. I'm your homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. Nice to meet you. Put this on and go out on the field, he says as he throws the PDD equipment at us. A quirk apprehension test? Everyone shouts. What about the entrance ceremony? The brown-headed bimbo asks. If you're going to be a hero, you don't have such time for leisurely activities. This is how teachers run their classes. You have been doing these types of tests since junior high too, right? Well, in this assessment you can use your quirks. Izuku Yuki, you finished first at the entrance exams, correct? Yes, sir. In junior high, what was your best result for the softball throw? 88 meters, sir. Impressive. Now try it with your quirk. No holding back. No holding back, sir? Precisely. Do whatever you want as long as you stay in the circle, he says as he throws me the ball. Okay, I say as I pull my arm back. I remember all the times Asmite screwed me over. Go to hell. I shout as I launch the ball, causing a massive shockwave, knocking everyone over and even cracking some of the windows. Sir? Why hasn't the reading finished yet? It's still in the air. Give it a moment. Ow. A loud sound came from behind us. Everyone turned around to see Asmite rubbing his head as he holds a burnt ball. Beeped 40,075 kilometers. I think that's 1920x the speed of sound. Approximately 658,560 meters per second. That's a lot. But I was still held back my strength somewhat. A lot of theory videos depict All Might at being able to move around Mach 7,000 and even some faster than the speed of light in some cases. I'm as strong if not stronger. Compared to what happened in SAO, I can't put my all into it anymore. What? Everyone screamed in unison whilst Asuna giggled and Shudo stared in shock. Even Aizawa was surprised. I didn't realize my anger was that strong that I naturally threw the ball around the circumference of the earth and hit All Might. Do I need anger management classes? Think to myself. 40,000 kilometers, are you serious? He must be some kind of monster. What's this? It looks fun. Fun, you say? You have 3 years to be a hero? Is that your attitude the entire time? Whoever comes in last will be judged with no potential and be expelled. Last place will be expelled. But it's the first day of school, it's so unfair. Natural disasters, calamities, selfish villains. Calamities can't be predicted. Unfairness will be something you have to work within this line of work. If you wanted to talk and have fun with your friends, do it in your own time. Villains won't wait for you. Go beyond, plus ultra right? Give it all you got. 50-meter dash. Stella and Izuku. 3, 2, 1, go. 0.40 seconds. Izuku passes with flying colors, once again shocking everyone. 4.42, Stella passed with an amazing time as well, using her flames to boost her speed. Thana and Izumi 3 fell. Fush. 3.20 seconds. Izumi flies by, using both of her quirks to shoot herself over the field, surprising everyone apart from Shudo. Even Asuna was slightly surprised, only for a moment though, as she remembered the secret behind All Might's strength. 3.30, Asuna shoots herself upwards and makes a slide and then a ramp and completely flies over the field. I look over at her with pride on my expression. She doubted her abilities, yet she can go toe-to-toe with someone who has not only an extremely powerful telekinesis quirk but Asmite's quirk as well. She notices my stares and puts a smug grin on her face. Shudo stares at the two of us in disgust before turning to race as well. Grip test. I crush the grip test in my hand as if it was nothing. They bring out All Might's personal grip tester, which I destroy as well. I look over to the buffoon who has shock all over his face as I laugh at his incompetence. Standing long jump. What were you expecting? A long paragraph? Repeated side steps. Unreadable. The after images of my side steps messed with the reading. Throw. You're holding back. Aizawa says, selecting me out of everyone. How did he know? You may seem like you're giving it your all, but through your eyes, I can tell you aren't giving it your all. Consciously or unconsciously, you are indeed holding back. I don't know your circumstances, but if you don't put your all into it, consider yourself expelled. So, do you want to be expelled? If not, do it again. And try, this time. I say as I grab the ball once more. I think about my friends in SAO, each one on the front lines dying and being slaughtered by the boss. They were all a goddamn FNG game from Kayaba, and All Might says their lives were for nothing. F you all, I shout with absolute fury in my voice. A shock wave so massive it launches many of the students into the concrete wall. The building itself begins to shake as a mini earthquake occurs. The ball itself was thrown into space. Beep, infinity. Everyone stood there in shock. Asuna saw I was in pain. Izumi stood there contemplating how powerful I was. Shudo looked defeated as he was weak. Each of the classes watched out the window. I even saw Bakugo look in awe and fear at my power. I thought I could handle my emotions. Why does everything have to be so hard? Why? I feel a slight dampness on my cheeks. Am I crying? When was the last time I cried? I walk back to the changing rooms to get changed. Some try to stop me as the lesson hasn't finished, but I don't think I can stand around Asmite anymore today. I've reached my limit. Everyone stood there staring at me, still in shock. God fing damn it. Why can't I just be left alone? I mutter as I slump down on my bed, trying to get some rest at least. Unaware of the presence that followed me. It was Asuna. At times like this it's hard to comfort me. I just lash out, but she helps me anyway. She comforts me. She wraps her arms around me, crying into my shoulder. I guess she doesn't like seeing me like this either. Man, I'm pathetic. What if Bakugo was right? I'm just a useless Deku? Laughing coffin. If we ever meet again, you'll be dead where you stand. I swear it on my life. Knock knock. Izuku, are you in there? Are you okay? A familiar and annoying voice sounds out from the other side of the door. I open the door to reveal the brown-headed bimbo, Ochako Uraraka. This immediately spoiled my mood as I was having fun drawing with my daughters. What do you need? I ask with a scowl. Well, I wanted to know if you were okay. I'm fine. You don't have to hide it, I can comfort you if you want. She says as tries to hide her very prominent blush. Papa? I heard a little voice from behind me. Ah, hell no, I ain't gonna let this hoe taint my daughters. I think to myself, Papa? You brought your children to school? She says with a slight shock in her voice. Guess it ruins her so-called plans. I guess so. I didn't introduce the class to them yet, as most of them have disgusting personalities and I'd rather keep them from wrongly influencing them. I say as I stare deeply at Uraraka, trying to get my point across. Oh yeah. I agree there are some bad people in this class. That John Doe guy looks like he'd be a part of a gang, not to mention his quirk is villainous. I mean, it's like he's trying to leech off of our success. She says, trying to agree with my point, but all I see is a thought trying to get in my pants. I met John, he's an alright guy. He actually offered to help me if I'm too busy. Don't judge people based on appearances. I didn't judge you on that, only on your personality, which is pretty scummy. What? I'm only trying to help. She shouts in desperation. You offered to comfort me. Presumably alone in my dorms. Have you ever wondered why I'm on the girls' side instead of the boys? I live with my wife and to be honest, she's extremely angry at you. Wadash, she says as she turns around and my grin becomes very visible. It was Asuna standing there in all of her glory. She was visibly shaking with anger as I presume she heard the majority if not the entirety of the conversation. She hides her demonic expression under a fake smile, which sends chills down my spine. Asuna, shall we? We shall. Begani thut? What the hell is this school? Asuna mutters to herself. I ask whilst staring at the broken window which we blasted Uraraka through. First, Todd half and half was trying to get me to break up with you, saying that we would be better together. He tried to buy me with compliments and then literally tried to bribe me to break up with you. And now that big dash, she stops herself noticing Arie was near the door. And that wonderful person tried to get with you? If I knew this would happen I wouldn't have come to you, she says, exhausted. Yeah, Todoroki tried to make me leave you as well. Even trying to threaten me. I'm gonna be busy tonight. I'm going to talk to Jiren and get information on the Todoroki family to bring Endeavor down. I say nonchalantly. If I can get any info on Laughing Coffin as well, that'd be for the best. And then be careful, okay? No problem. I say as I head back inside, causing Arie and Yui, who were peeking around the corner, very obviously to run back to their coloring sets. Mama, Papa, come draw, they say with bright smiles, causing me to smile, as well blinding Asuna with our combined smiles. Too bright, she says as she covers her eyes. After everyone had fallen asleep on the couch after watching Moana, I decided to meet Jiren. "Ah, it's you again." The so-called demon himself, he says, which surprises me slightly, but I accept it as with his connections he could easily find someone with a memory-reading quirk or an investigative one. Information this time. "Where are the laughing coffin?" I say bluntly. "Oh, that's gonna be pricey. I have money." Good. There are rumors of the laughing coffin leader being in the League of Villains. They are currently recruiting backstreet thugs and D-list criminals for an attack on Udata. "Tell me more." "Fine," I say as I hand him more money. "Well, apparently they are planning an attack on you, the A, in a few days. They are targeting the symbol of peace as he's teaching there," Jiren says, causing Izuku to laugh to himself darkly. "Well, if they are going to end All Might, who am I, a weak student there to stop them? He honestly deserves it. Apparently they are going to use the Udata students as hostages." "Say again?" I mutter in disbelief. "They plan to use Asuna and Stella as hostages. What about Arie and Yui? Would they target them because they are at Udata? Are they safe? How dare they use my family against me? Going. Huff US. Pose. Jiren falls hard on the ground hard. He isn't unconscious as he has barely one eye open. I then realize I was unconsciously releasing ending intent. "Well, they don't call you the demon for nothing," Jiren says. Unknowingly to Izuku, he thinks to himself, "I haven't felt intent that heavy since. I need a plan if I'm going to deal with God knows how many villains and laughing coffin. Not to mention if they have something to end All Might, then they must be prepared. Only a few villains come to my mind as to who can end All Might. None of them would join the League apart from Muscular, but even then that's a stretch unless they have influence. Wait, if they have that information, does that mean they have a spy in Udata? How would they know where we would be for them to attack? They wouldn't attack the building with a dozen professional heroes. That would be stupid. They would attack when we and All Might would be unprotected. I have one more request. I want information and evidence against the Todoroki family, as much as possible," I say as I give more money. "I have a lot of evidence against Endeavor, enough to suspend his license, but I want his ass locked up in Tartarus. I will send it to ya. Is it all? For now. Well then, it was a pleasure doing business with ya," he says as he begins to leave. I leave down a nearby alley. I decided to take another route in order to get back to Udata faster, so I wall run up a building and landing on the roof. I then hop from roof to roof in order to get there faster and hope to God nobody noticed that I'm Miz. My arm was suddenly grabbed by a piece of cloth. Looks familiar. OOOH. So, villain or vigilante? I doubt a civilian would roof hop. You don't look like any nighttime hero I know. So spill before I have to take you down. A very familiar individual with a cloth wrapped around his neck like a scarf. He has golden goggles and black shaggy hair. Skill activation, facade. I use my skill to change my voice. This skill in particular is gotten through interactions, for business purposes. You can manipulate your vocal cords to change your voice as you please. "What crime would you arrest me for?" I say with curiosity in my voice. Good point. I may not point out the fact that you were speaking with an information broker," he says, catching me off guard. Damn, I didn't want to do this, Aizawa. So let me get this straight. Instead of going for someone who is supplying a range of different villains and vigilantes with information that could cripple heroes, you go for the guy who did nothing? What kind of hero are you? Come quietly. He isn't that stupid. Underground heroes usually work alone, but he teams up with Mike and Midnight a lot. He may have brought backup to track him. Sorry about this, Eraserhead. I say as I scroll through my inventory. I can't let him know of my strength or sword skills, so he may trace it back to me. I need to get out of his eyesight so he doesn't see me summon a weapon and then I can knock him out with a dart. I take 2 steps back, whilst trying to distract him with information. He notices my movement and dashes forwards, locking my arm with his scarf. I grin and jump off the building. He unwraps the scarf from my arm so he doesn't get pulled off with me. With his view restricted, I summon my dart. I see Sensei jump down after me as I land on a fire escape. Wait, isn't this an opportunity? I think to myself as a wide crescent smile spreads across my face. I jump off the fire escape, landing on the alley. Eraserhead jumps after to confront me. I throw the dart at Eraserhead, completely missing him. It was as if I didn't even aim for him. Eraserhead looks visibly confused as he calls me out on it. Are you really a vigilante? What kind of aim wadash? He falls to the ground face first. I purposefully missed Eraserhead and made the dart ricochet off the fire escape, making the dart strike his back, paralyzing him. I look down at the now paralyzed but conscious Eraserhead as I move out of his line of sight to bring some rope out of my inventory. I notice his flair he has for emergencies as I continue with my plan. God, I'm an a-hole. But he deserves it for trying to capture me. He needs to know his actions have consequences. Present mic POV. The info breaker must have someone who can teleport him. Damn, we were this close. Suddenly I notice Eraserhead's flare going off in the distance. Midnight. Eraser needs our help. Let's go. Right? But what the hell? As we look at the flare, we notice someone tied to the fire escape, hanging by a rope, connect to his stomach. As we get closer, we couldn't help but laugh. I'm so sorry, Erasure. Haha. I roar with laughter. How did this happen? Haha, oh god, I'm going to die. We look at the now pantsless Aizawa tied up to the fire escape. His tidy whities are on display for the world to see. Whoever did this? Is a sick sun scratch that? Is my new best friend. We continue to laugh at Eraserhead much to his dismay. His glare shooting down on us. Can he speak? If he could, I bet he would be telling us, get me the hell down. I look to my right to see Midnight taking pictures to put into her very well-known blackmail folder. Oh, Eraser isn't going to be happy with us in the morning. Is there a way to send them a thank you note? Geez, this is the best early birthday present I can get. Ha-awea, Izuku let out a long and exaggerated sigh. Apparently 6 cups of espresso does not help that much when you pull all-nighters. Well, it didn't help me anyway. When he was about to take a nap, the door slammed open. It was Aizawa with an extremely annoyed expression. Yuki Izuku, he says with a scowl. Did he find out? You forgot to hand in yesterday's work? Izuku let out a mental sigh of relief as he fished his homework from his bag. Just put it on my desk in the staff area when you get the chance. He says before going back into the sleeping bag. What the hell was that? Hey Aizu, you look tired. You should take a nap. Asuna says as she appeared from behind. When did she get behind me? It's nothing. I can handle a bit of sleep deprivation, I say with apparent eye bags that makes me look like Aizawa's secret love child. I looked around the room as people entered and took their seats. Todoroki looked at me in shock before he sat at his desk heavily scribbling in his notebook. Asuna noticed my unwillingness and got an extra chair out of the supply closet and put them together. She sat 2 lengths apart and pulled my head onto her lap, causing others to give me jealous stares. Is this the fabled lap pillow? I fell asleep almost immediately. Don't you think he should be awake for this lesson? Izumi called out with fake concern for her brother. Fic real? Who cares? He just needs to rest his eyes a little. Arie was keeping him up last night. She had a nightmare, causing the rest of the class to go, oh, Arie's POV. Achoo, Arie sneezes adorably. Sis, you didn't get a cold, right? Yui says with genuine concern. No, I don't think so. Maybe Papa and Mama are talking about us. Arie says with a bright smile. Not even registering the fact that Mama might be using her as an excuse. Bad Asuna. Back with Izuku. Arie is your daughter, right? We haven't met them yet? Could we meet them this afternoon? Mina asks with excitement. Arie has had a rough childhood, so she might not be willing to meet strangers. We'll see though, I'm sure Yui would be more than happy meeting our friends. Asuna says as she subtly glances at Todoroki, Uraraka, and Izumi, letting them know that they are not welcome. Class, today we will be dash. I am here, coming through the door like a normal person. All Might shouts as he enters the room. The sudden noise causes Izuku to jump from my lap and hit his head on the underside of the desk. F dash. I scream out. My load outburst caused All Might to look at me. I look at the table that is now split in half and All Might, who has a smile plastered on his FNG face. Wait, All Might? F dash. I forgot that the class schedule said he was doing the battle training. Wait, One of my conditions were for All Might to be a teaching assistant, so where is... I think as I looked down to Aizawa, who was on the floor like a worm. All Might stared at me for a moment before visibly shrugging off his thoughts. I guess he forgot what his son looks like. Either that or the difference between dark green and black makes someone look extremely differently. Aizawa was interrupted by All Might. As they saw All Might sliding in, some were excited and most were silent. Probably due to the fact that they watched the video I made about him insulting the quirkless and whatnot. All Might is really working here? I can't believe what he said. I kinda lost all my respect for him. Do you think his personality is just a lie? He's a two-faced hero, Dad. He's wearing his Silver Age suit. Someone else yells, ignorant of the stares the rest of the class were giving All Might. Yes, it is All Might. And today I am here as a teacher. Cough assistant. Well, yes. A teaching assistant. All Might's voice boomed across the classroom. Could you any louder? Aizawa asked tiredly. Now then, let us get straight into it. Today we shall be doing battle training. All Might says, a little bit quieter than his usual booming voice, to which I silently thank Aizawa for. I give him a thumbs up, to which he returns it with a smirk. We will be conducting today's battle training with Class B. All Might says as more people enter the already cramped room. Apparently, he didn't think that far ahead as Aizawa gives another tired sigh. DKU? You bastard, how the hell did you get into U today? I should be in 1A, not you, you bastard. Babe, please calm down. What the F dash? You're taking his side now. You know what F this? Bakugo shouts as he lunges towards Izuku with his explosions, only to be wrapped up by Aizawa. Listen here, you little sheet. I won't tolerate this kind of behavior in my class, so sit down and shut up. The entire class were just looking at them confused a bit, well, besides Izumi, Asuna, and Todoroki, since they have dealt with his personality before. Do you guys know each other? Urariko says with curiosity. He told me to end myself. No big deal. I said, causing everyone to become shocked and to start making rumors about the angry Pomeranian. Fu too. Young Bakugo, young Yuki, let's try not to fight until we begin the battle trials. All Might says. I give him a glare before redirecting my attention. He's not worth my time. Now then, we shall go to ground. Beta. But first, you need to look like heroes. From the wall most inward of the classroom, suitcases popped out listing numbers 1 to 20. I look over to Class B, who already have their suitcases in the hands. It seems they had brung them along. Now get these on and meet me at ground, Beta. All Might booms once more before rushing out of the classroom. Everyone gets up from their seats and grabs their assigned suitcase. As Izuku gets up and grabs his suitcase, he smirks as he takes out his previous uniform. Something that was iconic in Iso, as everyone knew the name of the Black Swordsman. Welcome back, everyone. Everyone's costumes look super cool. All Might shouts aloud, but then he noticed something. Has anyone seen young Yuki? He asks, confused. The class looks around for a bit but finds absolutely nothing. I was here before all of you. Let's just get this over with, I say as I appear beside All Might, shocking him and the others. If I take the item in my inventory, I can just equip it instantly. I'm just surprised that other than Asuna, no one has any awareness skills. Wow, Izuku. You look great, Achiko says aloud, causing an annoyed glare from Asuna, who is dressed in her SAO outfit. It's different because Asuna never joined the guild. It's so nostalgic. I guess you made it exactly like before. I say with a warm smile as I remember our adventure throughout T. I couldn't bear to part with it. I wish I left you a copy so I could bring it here, but I guess the support department is amazing too. They made an exact copy of it, Asuna says with a blooming smile. Seeing her so happy makes my heart melt. You two look great. I hear a voice from behind. It was Stella. She was wearing a standard uniform. It wasn't one of you, eh? They got exactly what I wanted. I don't really need a hero outfit for protecting because my Empress dress basically blocks all bullets and attacks for me. It's a built-in armor. The only problem is that covers my sight, which disturbs my swordsmanship at times. Stella says. I nod in response, understanding what she meant. I'm strong enough as it is, but if my clothes were destroyed whilst fighting, that'd be a problem. Lucky my armor carries the stats it had in the game, I think to myself. Class 1A and Class 1B. You can choose your own teammates. Please make your own teams of 3. All Might says, which causes me confusion. Wouldn't it be better if it was randomized? Some teams will have an unfair advantage and know each other's quirks already. It's probably because he's bad at teaching. After a little while, the teams were finally formed. Shoto, Bakugo and Izumi. Stella, Izuku and Asuna. John, Tokoyami and Sat. Momo, Shuji and Kirishima. Kuji, Satu and Kaminari. Drew, Hagakura and Ida. Mina, Ajui and Urark. Uwais, Shota and Hananuki. Tetsu, Ibra and Kendo, etc. Author couldn't be bothered. First up, Team Izuku versus Team Izumi. Alright, Izuku, do you have a plan? Stella asks before being interrupted by Asuna. If I can guess what he's thinking, then we should just hang back. And on cue of what Asuna said, I take 2 chairs and some ice-cold lemonade out of my inventory. Unknown to them, the people who are watching become extremely curious to what Izuku plans to do. You know me so well. Bakugo, Shoto and Izumi are mine. I plan to overwhelm them with speed alone. Wait, Izuku, are you sure about that? Stella asks before taking a sip of lemonade. Don't worry. They are nothing, I say with a confident tone. Alright, I believe in you, she says as she leans on the chair, taking a nap. Thanks. I plan to show them the difference in power. Go hero team. All Might shouts through his microphone. All Might shouted through his microphone. I wander through the building and turn on my searching skill. I notice footsteps in front of me. Knowing Bakugo, he would try to ambush me. I rip a piece of concrete out from the wall and throw at the ground next to the corner. Bakugo jumps from around the corner as I baited him from his hiding spot. So you knew I would come, you damnedy. You know they made my gauntlets how I wanted. So what happens when all my sweat is stored and released in one shot? He shouts with a maniacal grin on his face. Young Bakugo, don't you will end him. Shut it. He won't die if I'm dash. His voice suddenly slows down as I enter my reaction state. This is a natural state that allows me to focus to the point of enhancing my processing speed, effectively slowing everything around me, to the point of being able to cut bullets with a sword. This paired with my extreme speed makes it seem like I'm almost slowing down time itself. I start to hum to myself as I see an extremely slow explosion come out of his gauntlets. If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day, till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. Izuku runs on the wall to avoid the explosion, leaving small craters beneath his feet as he runs. He leaps towards Bakugo, planting a foot in his face, causing a view of Bakugo's face distorting in slow motion. He looks at Bakugo for a moment before getting an idea. He tears out some of the steel mesh from the concrete like a hanger before going back to Bakugo. He picks Bakugo up and hangs him from the steel mesh with an atomic wedge. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure and then, again, I would spend them with you. Izuku runs up the stairs to see Shoto already firing off his ice in anticipation. Unfortunately for him, the ice is only slowly creeping towards Izuku in this state. Izuku just runs across the ice almost as if he's skipping. He thought it was quite fun. After ice skating a little bit, he stands in front of Shoto with a serious grin before taking a permanent marker out of his inventory. He then decides to scribble all over Shoto with insults such as, "Daddy's boing," or, "I love my daddy," and so on. After he's finished, he makes it so Todoroki punches himself in the face. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do. Once you find them, I've looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with. He then gets to the bomb, where he sees Izumi all alone in her frozen state. He can't really think of anything else to do. That was before he realized All Might was watching. He decides to humiliate his sister by tapping her with a paralysis dart to make sure she doesn't use her quirk whilst unfrozen. He then ties her with a rope around her stomach much like he did with Aizawa, and he throws her out the window. Of course, attached to something so she doesn't fall to her death. If I had a box just for wishes and dreams that had never come true, The box would, and then everything unfreezes. Bakugo is dropped with a gravity-assisted atomic wedge along with a kick to the face. He is knocked unconscious. Shoto gets slammed into the air, he is knocked unconscious. Izumi is just dangling outside the building. She is well, conscious at least. Izuku touches the bomb before getting a hesitant answer from All Might. The hero team wins, All Might says as if he's unsure himself. He then sees his precious daughter dangling outside the building. Rage fills his voice. What the hell was that? What happened? I didn't know Yuki was that strong. Go Izuku. What the hell are Class A made of? Izuku Yuki. Bring my daughter inside right this instance. He shouts with pure malice in his tone. This causes everyone to shout out. Daughter? Everyone in Class B screams in unison as their voice goes through the mic. I guess nobody mentioned it. Well, only Class A knew and Bakugo. Do it yourself you lazy f-. I say into my headset as I crush it in my palm. I leave to head back to the observation room only to feel a gust of wind shoot by me. I smirk to myself. Well that was fast, Stella says in surprise as I begin to stagger. Izuku? Stella shouts out. Asuna already knows what's happening as I get extremely exhausted from going into that state. I only do it as a last resort or if I wanted to show someone up. It allows me to make fine movements that I wouldn't be able to do just with my speed as my mind wouldn't catch up to how my body moves. I was tired already earlier. I just need a little rest. I say as I slowly walk back to the observation room. This was when Asuna moved under my arm to help support me as my arm is now wrapped over her shoulders. Sometimes it's fine to ask for help. Thanks, hun. I smile as I think to myself, how did I get such an amazing wife by my side? Young Yuki, may I have a word? What do you want? I ask. Why can't he just go back to America or something? I just want him out of my face. Maybe I should have chosen a different hero school. What were you saying? I sorta drifted off. Well, I would like you to apologize to my daughter for humiliating her in front of the class. Old man, don't get me wrong, you have no power over what I can and can't do. Old man? He repeats with shock in his voice. If I wanted to throw your precious daughter into a volcano to burn for eternity then I will. You and your daughter's thoughts mean nothing to me, young Yuki. I am telling you to apologize to my daughter. You do not want to make an enemy out of me. And what happened when someone did last time? Oh right, you offered him a quirk marriage and he ended up putting your reputation through the swamp. You are now the 30 most disliked hero on the Hero Association charts. Imagine what would happen if the so-called symbol of peace's reputation sunk even further? Would you get kicked out of the Hero Association? Would you even be allowed to do hero work? What would happen to your family? You have no power over me and I suggest that if you think about trying anything, you should be more aware of your surroundings. I say as I pull a mini camera out of my pocket to show to All Might, saving the recording and putting it in my inventory, out of his grasp. We will discuss this later, All Might says with a slight cough. No we wouldn't now f off All Might. Grr. Just like a dog. All bark no bite, hell you even growl like one pea. Everyone is seated in the class as Aizawa comes in the room. We're going to. Everyone sat in suspense. Be picking a class president, he finishes and gets into his sleeping bag and starts drinking juice. That's a normal school activity, almost all the students say. Sensei, can we elect a voting system? Ida says, chopping his hands like a robot. I don't care how you do it, just do it, he says as he closes his eyes and starts sleeping. But won't everyone vote for themselves? Asks Tsuyu. That's why we're doing this, to see who has got more trust and skill at being the class president, replies Kaminari. Alright everyone. Place your votes, says Ida passing out papers. After a few minutes, everyone seems to be done. I got the most votes by far. Following me is Yaoyorozu and Ida. What? Everyone voices in disappointment. Great. I'm class president, awesome. I smirk, causing Ida to look down in sadness. As my first order as class president, I order that my presidency be revoked and Ida becomes president in my stead. Because it's so goddamn boring. And that I get less time with my kids. Are you sure, Yuki-sen? Yup. Ida is president, Yaoyorozu is vice president. Any questions? Class dismissed, he says, going back to his sleeping bag and drifting off to his own winter wonderland. It was lunchtime and I am sitting with Asuna, Stella, and my daughters. Asuna made us all some sandwiches which tastes amazing. Definitely a better cook than Lunch Rush. Apparently, I muttered this, causing Lunch Rush to rush over and challenge Asuna to a cooking competition. I rarely get enough time to spend with my daughters. Please leave before I'll make what All Might could do to you. Look like child's play, she says with a casual smile. Lunch Rush visibly shivered, causing him to run back to his kitchen. Hey, Izuku, could we sit here? My daughters are here, I say with the hope that they get the hint. We don't mind. Apparently, Achiko and Izumi thought it was an invitation to sit and chat. I begin to laugh at her appearance. She reminds me of a South Park character. I wanted to get up and leave, but Asuna pinched and twisted my thigh, causing me to wince in pain. So these are your daughters? They are so cute. You two can call me Auntie Cheiko. This causes both Yui and Eri to look up at me as I shake my head to tell them to never call her that. See, can you call me Auntie Izumi? This causes me to question whether I should let my daughters associate with this hoe. She is technically their auntie, but does she deserve that? No, she does not. Sure, Yui and Eri, this is Izuku's sister. You can call her Auntie, Asuna whispered, loud enough for them to hear but not Achiko. Auntie Izumi, Eri says, causing Izumi to nearly faint at her cuteness. She doesn't deserve to bathe in the glorious sun, which is my daughter's smile. I think to myself, unconsciously frowning at Izumi. Why does she get to be a part of their lives when she tormented mine? She doesn't. This thought causes Asuna to pinch me once again. Is she trying to get me to forgive her? And if almost telepathic, Asuna replies. She doesn't deserve your forgiveness. But she still wants to put in the effort. At least let her know of the life she can't have. I will never let her get hands-on with Yui and Eri after what they did to you. It's called making them jealous. Asuna whispers with an evil smirk. Suddenly the alarm goes off and everyone starts panicking and heading for the exit. The noise causes Eri to go into a panic attack. At the sight of this, I nearly lost control. Shut the hell up. It's the effing media. How are you all in the hero school? You made my daughter cry, so the F down or I'll slice you in 2-inch, I shout as I realize my bloodlust causing everyone in the room except my daughters and Asuna to pale in fear, some even faint. My anger made me neglect the fact at that time that it might have been a diversion for the League of Villains to steal information for the upcoming attack. If I knew it at the time, I probably could have stopped the League from obtaining the information. It's not like it mattered anyway. Fast forward to the end of the day, skipping all the boring English and math lessons. You better be ready, for tomorrow you'll be having rescue training with All Might and another pro hero. Got that, says Aizawa as he goes back to sleep. If I remember correctly, 13 is also going to be coming. If the information on the UA database is correct, then we will be going for rescue training at USJ. It's the perfect time for a villain attack. But how could they have gotten the information? I think to myself as my eyes drift to the U.A gate which looked like dust. Wait, did they break in when the media? No, the media alone couldn't break through the gate. It was a diversion. Damn it. After a few minutes, Aizawa enters into the classroom and announces, today we're going to have rescue training with 2 other pros and I. Can I protect everyone? If I try to inform the staff, they will ask where I got the information. That is a conversation I do not want to have. I could give them an anonymous tip, but they likely wouldn't give it a thought. I have a plan, even if it's a terrible one. Aizawa tells us to meet him outside in their hero costumes, and everyone does so. Once everyone's on the bus, I sit in between Asuna and Tsuyu. There was an awkward silence between everyone except us two. Tsuyu decides to break it. Hey Izuku, she asks. Yes, Tsuyu, he replies. Call me Tsu. I give her a nod as she is pretty much one of the only tolerable people in this class, and she continues, I usually say what's on my mind, and I'm wondering your quirk is like All Might's. I suppose? Now, his strength is like his, but he also has that item creation like Momo's quirk, Kirishima says bluntly. This causes everyone to stare at Momo curiously, to which she didn't have a reply. Todoroki continues to write in his notebook. I could vaguely see a family tree with mine and Momo's name connecting. Alright everyone, we're here, says Aizawa, and everyone gets out of the bus. Once they get inside they see the Pro Hero 13. Oh, it's the Space Hero 13. Have you seen any of his rescue missions? He's so cool, that's why he's my favorite hero, to be honest. Okako says with an excited expression. Maybe I can get her away from me if I bribe her with 13 merch? Before we get started there are 3, no 4? Maybe 6 thing we need to discuss before we get started, 13 says. After the introduction, everyone makes it inside. I get myself ready as the attack could happen at any point. Suddenly a purple mist opens at the middle of the USJ where the fountain is at. From the portal come out dozens of thugs, a man with hands all over his body and a buff bird-like creature. Wasn't All Might supposed to be here? Did he have a change in schedule? The handman says, so you were the ones who broke in the school 2 days ago? I ask, causing the villain to chuckle. Did you really think we would just walk in the school? Of course not, everyone needs a diversion once in a while, he replies. 13 protect the students, says Aizawa as he begins to move. Aizawa. I'm sorry. What do you mean? Aizawa was cut off as the entirety of the class was enveloped in blue light. My teleport crystal on the class. Everyone was freaking out about what was going on. Everyone except one. Asuna cut through the teleport glyph, letting her and only her leave the portal area. A few seconds pass and everyone vanishes, only leaving Asuna and I at USJ. Utamas, you really think I didn't know what a teleport crystal looks like? Asuna shouts very angrily. I'll deal with you later. For now, we have other problems. Kurogyri, what the hell happened? It seems that one of the students has a warping quirk, much like my own. If you weren't our escape ride, I would have disintegrated you already. No matter, we will get All Might here by ending these 2 kids. No need. I will handle them, boss. A voice from the back sounds out as a man walks forward from the crowd of villains. Kiri. I know. That's red-eyed Zaxa. Why is Laughing Coffin here? And he called him boss. Why? Asuna was visibly trembling at this point. A second later that trembling got much worse as we saw another figure leave the portal. It feels like there's something stuck in my throat. I feel like I can't breathe, let alone speak. That's Gleam Eyes. They recreated him here. Are they mad? I shout out. The appearance of the Gleam Eyes causes Asuna to tear up slightly, probably thinking about my near-death the first time I faced it. Asuna, you take Zaxa. I believe in you. I'll take Gleam Eyes and the rest. But that's too many. Finish soon and then come to help me. I don't know if they replicated its strength or made it stronger. My guess is on the latter. I remember you now. The Black Swordsman and the Berserk Healer. Kirito and Asuna. I remember you. I will pay you back 100-fold for everything you did to us. He's Laughing Coffin as well? Asuna. It's all in our heads. Last time we fought we were much weaker. So, let's do this. Right? As I jump down the staircase, I summon both my weapons. The Elucidator and the Dark Repulsor. I cut down the enemies one by one, dismembering and maiming but not ending. I see Asuna engage Zaxa as I fight Hanzi over here. I slice his fingers off on one hand as he grabs my jacket with his other, only for nothing to happen. He looks shocked as if something was supposed to happen. The pain finally registered for him as he screamed in pain. You! Gleam Eyes end him. The massive monstrosity charges at me. Skill activation, cross guard. I block the blow with both my swords, but I was still flung into the staircase, creating a crater with the impact. It's definitely stronger than last time. Asuna POV. So, Healer-san, how did you like me ending all your friends? People who you considered your family? Zaxa says calmly as the blade is enveloped in a black aura. Shut up. What about Kirito over there? What will you do once I drive my blade through his skull? Shut up, I shout as I lunge forwards. He tries to jump away, but I freeze his legs, stopping him from running. It seems you have new tricks. And it seems like you don't know how to shut the hell up. I shout in rage as I barely miss his eye with my blade. It was a noob to crack his lens, hopefully impairing his vision. I heard from a certain source that you even have kids now. Imagine that, the Berserk Healer taking care of kids. Who would have thought? What, too scared to speak? I think if you touch a single hair on their heads, I will be wearing your guts like my mom's pashmina. Excuse me? I'm sorry? Did I freaking stutter? I said if you hurt them, you will experience pain and torment beyond anything you can possibly imagine. Your body will be torn piece by piece as you beg for a mercy that will never come. I will add your screams to my goddamn Spotify and I will see your head mounted on Aang Pike. Was that some sort of reference? What the F happened to my arm? Zaxa screams delightfully as I sever his arm with a gleeful smile on my face. Oh, that was just the starter. When I'm done, I'm going to shove his head, I point to the gleam eyes, with very prominent horns, up your ass as you beg for mercy. No, now let's talk about this. You wouldn't want anything to happen to your dash. I cut him off, literally, severing his other arm as he roars in pain again. Bad move again. You have 2 legs left and your head is still attached to your shoulders. So what were you going to say about my children? Izuku POV. I wipe the blood off the corner of my mouth as I laugh. Hee hee aha. So this is your big plan? To unleash a unstoppable force to end All Might. Well, congratulations. It would have worked, you see. There was one problem with your plan. That is, me. I say calmly as I shatter the gleam eye's blade to pieces. As I was about to get ready to fight, it suddenly pulls another blade from its back. This blade was pitch black and oozed malicious intent. I charged forwards only to be stopped by the blade. I jump back and scowl. What kind of deus ex machina is that beast? Why, you see, this isn't a normal weapon. It is the legendary legendary darkened blade. A cursed blade with its own consciousness that can take over its host when used. What the fuck? Well, guess what? In the name of Kayaba, I can pull bullshit out of my ass as well. Skill activation. The Eclipse. I charge at the gleam eyes, starting with my 27 hit sword skill that I used on the bullshit Kayaba boss. As I finish my combo, it tries to catch my weapon much like it did in the original SAO. Problem for Gleamy over there is that I remember this scene as I used to play it in my head over and over. What could I do differently? I drop my weapon to the ground, causing it to fall blade first and dig in between the USJ tiles. I use the handle of the blade as a stepping stone to jump up higher, rising above the gleam eyes as I finish it in one more slash. Skill activation, horizontal slash. I cut the gleam eyes. I severed its head from its shoulder as it falls lifelessly to the ground. That was surprisingly easy. Who's next? I say as I look around at everyone who was sitting back, not wanting to interfere with our fight. Hey Izu. I'm finished up over here. Asuna shouts across from USJ. She notices I finished my fight as well. OOOH, can I borrow its head? I kinda made a promise to this jackass. She says, ignoring the pitiful cries of Zaxa. Sure, Tech. I say as I throw the gleam eye's head by its very pointy horns. Thanks, she says as she moves back to Zaxa. I could hear screams of agony in the distance and others calling her a monster. That's my wife, I say with slight satisfaction. You two are effing insane. And you? Hanzi shouts out with his voice trembling with rage. Apologizes Tamura, this is not a battle we can win. The misty figure said as he engulfed Shigaraki, leaving behind the villains. I was too bored to fight, so I sent a shockwave of ending intent towards them. Most of them pass out. The ones that didn't are crying in their own piss. Don't fear, for I am here. The doors of his burst open as All Might stands there in all of his. You know what, author-san is getting tired of writing about All Might. Fear. Oh, I see that you have already finished up. Yeah. It wasn't difficult, I say casually, dismissing any help that he wants to offer. His gaze turns elsewhere as he covers his mouth in an effort not to puke out his non-existent stomach. Could you tell your wife to stop? It's very disturbing. Asuna, could you finish it up? Might is here. Might? Asuna calls out as if she heard me right. Yeah, hun. I just gotta get the final horn in. Okay. She's nearly done. I can see dash. What did I do to deserve this? Just end me. Next time I hear another scream, I'll shove the body up there as well. Good. Asuna says with a soft smile on her face. Well, this is awkward. I guess. I say as I begin to drink a health potion to restore the minuscule amount of health I lost. What is that? You shouldn't be taking steroids. You dumbass. It's a health potion, something I can make with my quirk. It can heal any wound, old or new. Old or new, you say? Yup. Obviously understanding what the jackass wants. Would you let me have one of those? Nope. I say bluntly. Did he really think I was just going to give him a health potion? Even if he dies tomorrow, that's his fault for being a cocky bastard and the so-called symbol of peace. I'll get someone to clean up your blood. Everyone else is on the way. Third-person POV. We are here. Okay, what the hell happened? All Might, did you do all of this? Nizu asks in shock as he notices some people missing limbs or covered in piss. Oh, and a very bloated man who seems to be crying in pain. All Might looks deep in thought before replying. I defeated everyone and saved the students? That quickly? Nizu asks again, but very skeptically. Yes. You know there's a video camera right at the entrance that would have captured it all. Okay, maybe not all of them. Your useless ass did nothing, someone screamed next to a very blood-soaked man with red goggles on. Yes, it's all ass blood. Well, a majority of it is. Is that Izuku Yuki? Maybe. Alright, we will get the rest of the story in a moment. Recovery girl, could you clean up the blood? I don't get paid enough for this. Recovery girl mutters. Little did they know she was also thinking about something else. Why did I bleed anyway? I swear the system disabled it. Oh, I forgot to turn that feature back on. Whew, that was lucky. What would have happened if I lose an arm or something? It's not like they can use that blood for anything. What you did was extremely reckless, irresponsible, and very dangerous. The familiar Shaggy-sensei says with a scowl. Izuku looked visibly upset as he retorts, what I did saved their lives. You do not have a hero's license or a provisional. You taking on a beast designed for All Might was insanity. How you're alive is still a miracle. We will know more once Nizu gets the camera footage, Aizawa says with it. Do I really need to deal with this right now? Look on his face. I fought that beast once. I could do it again. You have no basis to scold me on except for allowing Asuna to up his leaving in bits and pieces with and adding caramel and a little spice added in the mix with. Whatever. We're glad you're okay. Don't act without permission from a pro. As punishment you will sit dare make me sit in detention after school for God knows how long, and I will set Asuna on you. Any time away from my kids isn't time well spent. Fine. Just remind me never to upset your wife for one. Secondly, apparently recovery girl and the UOOH staff want to talk to you. Oh. So, Izuku Yuki, or should I say Izumi Midoriya? Ah, so you found out? I say without a care in the world. It was bound to happen eventually. Indeed. You have made Yagi and Inko very worried about you. Ha, ha, ha. Are you kidding me? Them worried about me? I was quirkless before I was trapped in that death game. The emotional and physical torment playing through my mind forcibly awakened my quirk. But you know what? You sheet excuse for a plushie? Ass Might and that hag gave me more emotional abuse and torture than if I had to live through SAO for 10 years. Not even exaggerating. I was beaten, starved, and was considered useless my entire life. The only reason they didn't end me was because of their reputation. Every one of the staff were just sitting and listening. Tatsumaki, All Might, Art, Nizu, and the others were all hanging on my every word. Actually, let me go into more about what happened. Bakugo Katsuki told me to end myself several times, yet he still at Yui. Shoto Todoroki was abused by his father to be able to beat All Might. He made it sound like training. He was in fact a result of a quirk marriage. I don't hate him so much as the others, but he still did his fair share of damage, and my dearest sister Izumi Midoriya. She was the worst of them all. She made me trust and believe in someone only for her to crush all my dreams. She stomped on my heart and over the years, watched me slowly die inside. I even thought of suicide most times before I found someone who actually helped me and liked me for me. So anything you can say to convince me that dearest daddy and mommy aren't so bad? You can stick it up your ass. I am sorry for that, but we had also heard that you can make items that can fix any injury. Don't you think it's your obligation to help your father? You could heal his stomach, Nizu says. I give him a sickly sweet smile as I respond to his ludicrous question. I guess I could. But the only reason I'm here right now is because I'm worth something. The fact I have a quirk. The fact I can heal All Might. If I couldn't, it'd probably be dead in an abandoned alley right now. And just so you know, I'd rather Yagi suffer for the rest of his life than give him hope. This is what he deserves. Now get the F out of my face, you rat. I breathe out and in, recollecting myself. Ah, that was a good rant. See you guys. I have to go see my daughters. What quirks do our grandkids have? Tatsumaki says, causing everyone to stare at her with disgust. What? She says with visible confusion. Is she that stupid? How is she a top hero? How do you have kids anyway? Did you knock up some slut dash something? I sent All Might flying through Yuda campus. Each and every room that was connected was destroyed. Students peeked through the hole to see who threw the symbol of peace through several layers and walls of concrete. I fly forward, kicking off the ground as I grab All Might's collar. I begin to bash his face in. Never. That. You dare call her that? If I wasn't so kind, I would put you in so much more pain, I say as I begin to leave. The teachers ran towards the fallen symbol of peace to see if he's injured from the light tap given by the teen. Much to their surprise, All Might actually deflated and was unconscious. To make sure the students don't see his appearance, they throw a blanket over him. Everyone who watched the display were confused, annoyed or happy. Annoyed at the fact that there are such monsters at UA, happy that the symbol of peace that disrespected everyone was put in his place, but confused on who exactly is that strong to knock out the symbol of peace. I didn't know you got a hot tub. It's surprising our balcony could even fit one. Oh, and Aizawa-sensei said that we have to prepare for the sports festival as you weren't in class today. It's so bubbly. Arie screams out as she moves her hand over the jet of the hot tub. It's nice, Yui says as she looks as if she's beginning to fall asleep. Didn't think it was that relaxing, I thought to myself. I have more than enough money to spend. I needed to relax a little. The encounter with Ass Might earlier piece dash annoyed me a bit. What exactly hap dash? I'll get it, I say as I walk to the door to open it. As I do, I notice it's the entirety of 1A. You weren't in classes this morning, we were worried. Mina shouts with a slight pout. As I try to explain, all their eyes drift downwards. I'm still in my swimsuit. Several thoughts were in their minds. Asuna is lucky. Why couldn't it be me? No, it will be, is Asuna also? A Greek god? Why are you soaking? Well, I just got out of the hot tub. You have a hot tub? Everyone shouted in unison. Yeah, I say as if it's the most normal thing in the world. Everyone rushed in, except the guys who felt that the gravity under them intensified. They looked into Izuku's eyes. Big mistake. One of them was dumb enough to resist it. Shoto Todoroki. Asuna's in there. One small step for man. One large step for Mardash. Todoroki shouted in pain as I slammed my fist into his gut to stop him. Ain't no guy but me gonna see her in a bikini. Yeah. So you guys just leave. You can try it out another time. Each of them said dejectedly as they leave the small apartment with their heads hung low. As I approach the balcony, I start to hear everyone's talking. Are you really okay? Are these cuties the kids you were talking about so much? They are really cute. You won't hurt mommy, will you? Mommy was sad before. I won't let you make mommy cry, Arie says, still shy and nervous from the amount of strange people. One thought resonated with everyone. Cute. It's okay, they are too weak to hurt me, my little snowflake, she says with pure confidence, which makes Arie smile brightly. Mommy will be the best hero with daddy. Yui was smiling at her sister for her courage. Yeah, the best heroes ever, Yui shouts with her sister. All of them cooed at the sight. Some wanted to steal them away and some wanted to faint at the pure cuteness of the adorable duo. This is Arie and Yui, our adopted children. Do anything to hurt them, and I will turn you into an ice sculpture. If you guys want, you can go and grab your own swimsuits and we can hang out here. Even you, Uraraka, much to my dismay, we are going to be classmates for 3 years. I just hope you get over your unrequited love. Oh, and don't worry, Izuku will be training like usual, so I don't think there will be any issues. Right? Yees? Uraraka looked down in silence as they all begin to leave to grab their swimsuits. Someone elsewhere? A white hospital room, a bunch of flowers filled with a sense of nostalgia. I look around for any sense of what happened and why I'm here. Where am I? Wait, who am I? She's awake. Get the doctor. Ha. Where am I? Wait, who am I? She's awake. Get the doctor. Ha. A man with black hair and black eyes slams the door open. He has a look of worry as he stares at me with a look of disbelief. Who are you? I ask fearfully. He looks plain and intimidating. Do I know him? Say Sarah? Don't you know me? He asked with shock written throughout his voice. Should I really know who he is? If you let me explain before barging in here, you would know, you dumbass. The auburn-haired girl shouts at him, whilst pulling at his ear. What? She lost her memory? She shouts out with an annoyed tone. This causes the man to look back and forth between me and the other girl. What? Oh, that's not good, Unu. He literally face palms himself. The man stares at me for a moment. He tries to say something, but he shuts himself up and goes back to thinking. Do you know your name at least? I was told my name is Serafina, but other than that I have no idea. Well, I'll explain how we know each other, he says with pain in his voice. Then he goes to explain things which seem completely unrealistic. The three of us were best friends trapped in a digital death game where we fought for our lives. Does he hi? He explains that the Nervegear itself sends signals to your brain, and because of my physical condition of being malnourished and starved, my brain lacked the necessary nutrition to supply itself. This combined with days in the Nervegear with no interaction or anybody taking me to the hospital, my brain was functioning in a critical state, where when I finally recovered from the Nervegear I was put in a coma. During that time apparently he adopted my sister. Does that make him my dad? I want to see my sister. Where is she? Arie? She's outside. We thought that it might help if you saw her. Arie, please let her in. He leaves for a moment, returning with a white-haired girl with ruby eyes. Wanisen, she whispers as she looks at me. I must look like a mess. I look down at my hand, which seems to be skin and bone. Arie, I say softly to her as she barrages me with a hug. A rush of memories invade my mind. I actually remember her. Why do I only remember my sister? Why couldn't I remember my name or these two? Onizen! Arie shouts as she begins to cry onto me. I remember Arie-chan. I whisper as I embrace her further into a hug. This causes her to look up in surprise before hugging me harder. Do you know us as well then? The dark-haired man shouts with hope. I try to remember anything about these two and that so-called death game, but I can't. No. I reply bluntly. This causes him to look down in sadness before his eyes light up in renewed hope. Then I'll help you remember, he shouts out. Another person walks into the room, someone who I'm actually familiar with as they have been checking on my condition since I woke up. Well, fortunately, it seems your memory will return when? I don't know. If you can remember portions of your life, that means you have access to other memories as well. It seems it's a rare form of retrograde amnesia. She has lost her previously existing memories. Usually, with retrograde amnesia, memories from her childhood would be affected less, hence how she would remember Arie but wouldn't explain why she couldn't recall her name. Her memory may return with familiar prompts, which is why I would suggest having a weekly appointment with a neurologist so that we may be able to help recall her memories. And for the record, he was the one who paid for your monstrous medical bill. If it wasn't for him, you'd likely be dead, as you would have been moved outside of the hospital and you would be without the correct treatment. After this explanation, which I half understood, a small rat comes into the room. I guess I should give them some form of trust. If it wasn't for them, I would never have met Arie again. Why hello there. Am I a bear? Am I a Get on with it, I say in a frustrated tone. He's kind of annoying. Well then, my name is Nizu. I was informed of your recovery, so I made sure to come down here as soon as possible with an offer. You see, I believe you have a lot of potential and I want you to become a student at my school. School? Yurare. A prestigious school that is designed to support young talents like yourself in becoming a hero in the future. Why am I talented? Yorka dashed. He was cut off by a glare from the black-haired man. That said, why hasn't he said his name yet? It's kind of annoying referring to him as the black-haired man. I mean, with your previous history in survival, I believe your abilities can be cultivated into an amazing skill set if you become a hero. The rat says with sweat dripping down the side of his face. Arie jumps up from my lap and runs over to the principal with sparkles in her eyes as she begins stroking Nizu's fur. Soft kitty? Arie says with a smile as she continues to stroke his fur. Purr Nizu? The principal literally purred. What has this world come to? A cat? Everyone's thoughts synchronized. Arie, how about you play with your sister for a moment? Okay, mommy. Arie says as she looks at me for a second before running out to join her sister. She dragged Nizu along with her as she didn't want to let go of his soft fur. Do I have another sister or is she adopted as well? You are quite the family, I mutter unintentionally. Well, we try to be. None of us had a great childhood growing up, so we wanted to make sure Arie or Yui didn't have to experience that either. Unfortunately, a lot of time was missed during SAO, which lead Arie to painful circumstances, so we try to make sure we spend as much time as possible with them. I'm sure Arie would like to stay with you more, which is why I think you should come to you today with us. You get to be with her and have a future, and if you're wondering, your quirk is time manipulation. However, I'm not sure how it would work after such a long period. I don't want to abandon Arie again. Should I join you today until I remember what my dreams were? Sure. I'll join you if I can stay with Arie. But what does this make me, her aunt or her sister? Both, I guess? They looked at each other with an unsure expression. What about your other daughter? We can introduce you to Yui later. We still need to find out when you are cleared from the hospital. We are going to fill you to the brim with food as well. We don't want to scare children thinking the zombie apocalypse is coming, right? This statement causes the auburn-haired girl to punch him in the arm. Oh, one last thing. What are your names? Did we really forget to tell you our names? My name is Asuna Yuuki and H-. My name is Izuku Yuki, her amazing husband. He shouts as he cuts her off with a lot of confidence in his voice. He must be really amazing. Amazing husband? You can't even tie the trash bag properly, says the woman who crippled a guy to the point of having to surgically remove someone's head from their ass. Says the guy who mentally scarred an entire Yakuza just because you were too lazy to explain to the police why you took on an entire Yakuza. Do I need to say any more? So what, you just want me to roll over and be nice to them? At least I pretend to be nice to people. Yeah, wait, pretend? They are both idiots. They seem nice. For psychopaths at least. It was the start of the day and everyone's eyes were on the unfamiliar girl standing by the door alongside Izuku and Asuna. Ugh, morning class. Today we have another problem child joining us. Sir, I believe it's quite late in the year for another individual to join our class. Ida shouts out whilst chopping his hands. The crowds look at Ida with dignity and respect. Ida smiles with all the praise he's given. He will surpass his brother. He will get all the love and attention, and this is all just a daydream. He snaps out of it in a praise the sun pose whilst everyone watches him, giving him weird stares. Ida, ugh, I have a headache, you aren't helping. As for why she is joining us this late in, that's because she had always had a spot in this class, but due to her circumstances, she was not able to join us. Aizawa says before dropping his face on his table, wanting to get the day over with and get some sleep. I see. Well, as a respectable member of this class, I will make sure that she is well adjusted. Ida says, trying to be a good role model, but is quickly met by whispers from Serafina to Izuku asking if he's the weirdo of the class. No, I guess the weirdo of the class is me. John is the brooding Sasuke. Mina the future pop star, or porn star. Ashui the frog. Tenya the strict one. Achiko. Stella, the cool one. Denki the dumb one. Kirishima the manly one. Kuji the quiet one. Sata the baker. Shuji the mysterious copycat ninja. Jiru the music nerd. Izumi the betrayer. Tokoyami the emo. Shudo the spineless coward who tries to steal your wife if you turn your head slightly out of his view. Momo the rich girl, Tsuru the one in the background as much as she hates it. And Asuna the sadistic berserker. Hey, you know it's true. Then what am I? You three shut up and you, go and introduce yourself. Make it quick, Izawa says, silencing us both and then pointing at Sarah to talk. Hello. My name is Dash. Sarah. Sasuke slams on his desk in a very unsasuke-like manner. Maybe we spoke too soon. Who are you? What? Do you not recognize me? We went to school together. Sorry, my memory's a little off. It's nice to meet you or re-meet you. Sarah has turned from a carefree girl into someone who actually have manners. What the hell happened to her for her not to be so? Like, was going to say before, my name is Serafina Sigil. Things I like and things I hate. I don't feel like telling you that. My dreams for the future? Never really thought about it. As for my hobbies, I have lots of hobbies. We didn't get anything other than her name. Everyone thought in unison apart from Izuku, Asuna who chuckled to themselves, John who was confused on why she was acting like her old self, and Stella who had a different thought in mind. Sigil? Stella called out, slightly confused as she had heard the name once before from Asuna. Please take the seat next to John Doe. Hi. Sarah called out, still slightly confused on why she's actually here. Izuku and Asuna observed as John tried to speak to Sarah. She looked slightly flustered even though she doesn't recognize him. You two take your seats as well. Asuna walked down past Sarah, who whispered loud enough for John and Izuku to hear. She winked at Sarah, who was now bright red as she sat down at her seat. Izuku was slightly annoyed, not at the fact they were talking to each other or that Sarah has clear feelings for him even without her memories, but for the fact that she had never directly mentioned John when she was with them in Sao. Izuku remembered back to all the conversations they had and the specifics about her past. She didn't mention much but mentioned that she went to New Wellston and the fact that when other players asked her out, she said she was already taken. Both Izuku and Asuna asked about it, but she just said it was an excuse, clearly not wanting to talk about what happened. Today we will be improving your techniques on how you use your quirks. Hi. A few minutes later in the changing rooms. Izuku POV. So, how do you know Sarah? Why do you call her that? Dude, chill out, I'm happily married, you already know this? So sorry, it's just that she asks like she doesn't know me anymore. Was everything we experienced a lie? I'll let you know something. I leaned in to whisper in his ear, so that others doesn't hear our conversation. Apparently, Sarah doesn't want to be treated with pity. Sarah and I are best friends, we were trapped in Sao together. The reason she didn't join earlier is that there were complications when she woke up. She has no memories apart from her sister and what we explained to her. That's the reason she doesn't remember you, she literally can't. I see. I guess I should tell you something as well. Sarah and I met in Wellston. Her family was a strict posh family. I met them once and they were really arrogant. She apparently had a sister, but Sarah said that her parents never let her out in fear of others corrupting her. Things went downhill as we got to near the end of school. I got her to drop her Ida attitude. Her grades started to drop. She came into school with bruises and she flinched whenever someone got close. I tried to ask what was wrong, but she refused to tell me. Well, that's different to what she told me. She said her family was pretty shady. I guess she doesn't remember much, but if she didn't want to tell you, I don't think it's my place to say anything, especially if she didn't want to tell you. She will remember in time, so try to be patient. You know the way of Achin? Nope. Oh, and Sarah's sister is my daughter Arie. What the F dash?